Hey everybody, it's Brian here. Night with the London Quant without the London Quant. Very interesting. So let's get started for now. Do what we can first. Hopefully you'll show up in a future date. I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm gonna mute everybody. Just so use the chat box wherever you can. And try to reduce all this background noise here. And once he shows up, I'll definitely unmute him. Okay, so why don't we get started, oddly enough. All right, so hopefully you guys can see the chat box. I'll type the first message in there for us to get started. Gigi, I'm gonna unmute you because you're really good and all. Oh, yeah, there you go. You're pretty technical, man. Okay, so we were talking about Quantopian. A lot of people are using basically the ooh, yeah, here that's a sys user. Sorry, man. Okay, so we were talking about Python. How many of you guys use Python right now? I just want to get a poll. We got about 14 people. I'm sure it's going to be a majority of you. Right now, George, London Quant's not available right now. He's not coming online. I'm pleading he's coming aboard. I don't know how many Skype messages I can send him. He does know about this. No messages back. Okay, so we've got Jeff, John knows Python. Gigi's a good expert. James never used it. Then uses Python, basic Python. Okay. Shalom coming in. Okay, hang on here. Just drop it, muting everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So we got, I would say, a good chunk of people have used definitely Python. And here, let me just playing administrator at the same time as putting on presentations is a little tough. If you guys see Mr. London Quant show up, just let me know. So I've got a lot going on as it stands right now. Anyways, okay, so let's continue. So majority of you guys are using Python. And how many of you guys are actually live trading right now? Just give me a yes, no. So I can get that. Okay, that well says yes, he's live trading. How many of you are actually, okay, a lot are live trading. Okay, how many of you guys are using actual automated trading? Meaning you've got at least signal generation. Sys user is having problems. A lot of people are able, it's probably your end, sys user. Can you hear me okay, sys user? I just unmuted you. That typing is the sys user. Please suggest if anyone's hearing anything. We just did a check on that. Everyone is hearing us. Okay, so out of those that are using automated trading, how many are actually doing automated execution, meaning you're running a system that's algorithmic trading and also using virtually no human intervention for your trading, your executions? So sysuser was just told to try connecting again. Okay, so we got John's using Quantopian. Jeff says he's got a automated trading. Okay, so you still out there, Gigi?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Let's get on with the questions because I really don't understand why our London Quant's not showing yet. Got just somebody coming in now. Hopefully that's him. All right, so let's get on with the first question. If you guys want to type in your questions in the chat box, let's see what we can do here. I do apologize if the London Quant's not showing up yet. Anybody got any general tech questions or any trading questions? Anybody out there? Okay, so no questions. What are your backgrounds?
The Japanese candlestick chart.
Hang on here. Sorry, it's this user. I keep muting you. Okay, what are our backgrounds? Well, you should read my biography. I think most people are active traders and whatnot. That's a pretty generic question here. Gigi, do you want to give an intro on where you're at with your system, because you're probably one step behind London Quant, because I mean you've got a complete system underway, right?
I have ideas for them, but I'm still like all programmers working on the infrastructure. It's coming, yes, and I'm also investigating some more dubious instruments, to say the least.
When you say
binary options.
Oh, I see. Okay. Is that what you mean? Dubious?
In the sense that many binary options brokers are quite scammed, but a few legit ones are appearing.
Okay.
And if you know like blackjack, at first look the odds are against you. Like the casino has an edge.
Okay.
But if you know how to count the cards, actually the odds are for you. So binary options is the same. At first look, they seem to be against. The odds seem to be very against you, but actually they are in your favor much more than at blackjack, for example.
Yeah.
So this causes a problem because the broker, there is no liquidity market yet for binary options. So the broker is the counterpart. So this means that they will have to pick winning traders.
So, I mean, do you ever see binary options going mainstream at all?
They are very, very easy to understand. So there is very large request from beginners for them.
Yeah.
But the problem is the liquidity, because there is no liquidity provisioning yet. And the other problem is, like I said, it's very easy to make profit on them if you know a few advanced statistics. So this means that the moment that good brokers will start to appear, which will actually pay you no matter what, then the quants will start trading them and they'll quickly be done. So I think this is a very interesting moment that the first legit brokers start to appear, but the quants are not here yet.
Do you find now is that going to be a new focus for you on binary options?
Yes, actually, the first system that I'm working at right now, after I finish some infrastructure work, will be on binary options, not on forex. Because, like I said, the opportunity is massive, in my opinion. So this I will be focusing on.
And are you working with any of the mainstream brokers right now that you've already mentioned, like FXCM and Dukascopy? Are those?
Dukascopy I will be working with, because they offer, they're starting offering them, and they are quite legit. So we'll see how it goes.
Right. Interesting.
And on the forex side, I'm also, like I said, I want to do some higher frequency trading, but I need to finish the visualization first, because I really need to monitor this.
Okay. And we got a question out from Shane. Any automated system design that outperforms others? How frequently do you have to change strategies, and what is the lifetime of a strategy? Here, let me just reduce that noise again. Here. We got. Wonder who this guy is. Here. Sorry, people. It's a sys user. Okay. So sorry about that. Back to the question. High frequency trading. How would you define high frequency trading, GD? I mean, how many transactions will you be doing a day?
It's hard to say, but I expect something like 3 or 4 transactions per instrument per day, and if I will trade 100 instruments, it will be something like 600 transactions per day, something like that in the beginning, and then we'll see. But this is, like I said, it's not measured accurately, so I really need to finish the system to be more accurate.
Okay. I just got a message from Lennon Kwan. He's coming on board in a second, so he's back on Skype. At least this is a good sign. So he'll be on board in a sec. Okay, just give me a second here. You want to take that next question, Gigi? In the meantime, what's the lifetime of a strategy?
Well, that's obviously depends on the strategy. So you have strategies like long, short, which are measured in 20 years, and you have strategies which work for 3 days. So it depends on the strategy. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Usually, the higher frequency you go, the lower lifetime, because you need to re-optimize the strategy like every day. So.
Yeah. Just give me a second. It looks like the Lennon Quant's going to be with us in a sec here. Just give me a second here. Just got to get him the link. Anybody else got any questions? So check 12 strategies once a month. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Jeff. If you want to type that out again.
What I do is 12 strategies that I check once a month.
Uh-huh.
And on the ones I'm using, I optimize and walk forward every 30 minutes. Just to check they haven't changed dramatically.
Okay. Hang on here. Sorry about this. Just trying to, like I said, do all these things all at once. Okay, so we should be on in any second here. Okay, so let me get back to the question. I do apologize on that. We got some more questions. James asks, can you please type the name of the legit binary brokers again? I think you said Dukas. Okay, thanks, man. Optimize, walk forward. Okay, thanks. Okay, so Lennon Quant's in. He says he can't hear. There he is. You guys can see him, Mr. Lennon Quant. How are you? Oh, there he is, the man. Da-da! Okay, he's aboard. Welcome, man.
Sorry for the delay.
You got me worried there, man. You weren't going to show. My critics that I invited out were just going to, rake me alive.
That was fine. You weren't listening about the P-files for so long yet.
Okay, people have been wondering who you are. Do you want to give a little intro of yourself, at a high level?
I used to work in robotics for some years. My background is in primarily theoretical mathematics. And just have been working in finance for more than 7 years now.
Okay.
Primarily in high frequency and market making.
Okay. Because right now we got, I told you about Gigi, the Python expert. He's really good. So if you guys want to make your acquaintances each with Gigi and Lennon Quant, I'll keep you guys aboard. Okay, so we got the experts online now. So let's get those questions rolling now in the chat mode. We've already taken on some questions, just some general stuff, but some really advanced stuff. Now that we've got Mr. LQ aboard. Anybody got any questions? Don't be shy now.
So London Quant, I would have some questions for you. For example, I was wondering how are you dealing with the data? Like what frequency of the data are you, as in time frames or in, how do you sample the data?
You mean with regards to things or with regards to bugs?
Can you repeat that?
I mean, I'm saying, you mean with regards to ticks or with regards to bars?
Ticks.
And again, the second question, you mean what kind of database I'm using, or?
I was wondering if you are using like wall clock time or trade time or non-linear time frames or stuff like that.
I'm using elastic time windows.
Okay, I'm not sure I heard of that.
So it's like saying that, I mean, if let's say you say, give me the last 100 ticks, the last 100 ticks can be 1 minute or can be, couple.
So this means that, for example, this would be like a 100 tick time frame.
But that's the thing. My time frame is not a number, as you would say.
Is it linear in something, like linear in volatility or in time, or it's?
No. It's purely non-linear.
Okay. So, for example, I know that a lot of high-frequency traders are using trade time, in which trade is a time tick. So, is it something like that, or?
Not exactly, no. Because in my case, I'm using primarily real-time pattern recognition.
Okay.
Which that thing wouldn't really serve me.
Because, for example, if you use wall clock time, you know that the markets are not, the returns are not Gaussian, they are not normal. And you have also.
But no returns are normal from 1 minute and below in the first place.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I mean, normally they would say that distribution is normal if all your data are within 99.7% of your.
Yes, but for example, if a news hit, when you have a news release, in that minute you'll have a much larger returns than in the other minutes. So that minute will be an outlier.
Yes, but the thing that obviously you wouldn't do a model that you would take. I mean, if you're trading events, you would use the data only from the events, and then when you take data only from the events, they'll have different distribution from the other ones.
Okay. Yes, makes sense.
But the thing that, I mean, the easiest trick is if you want to do only events trading, you only take the data only inside events. So you wouldn't take the data from the whole day, but only, let's say, 10
makes sense.
minutes. So some of this data, but then this data become more normally distributed than the other ones.
But there are time frames in which even if you take the data from events and from non-events, the returns will be normally distributed everywhere. So
not necessarily. It depends which time period you're seeing. If you're seeing it in about 5 minutes, yes, it will be.
No, I was thinking like, for example, if your time tick is a percentage move, for example, like 0.05% move. So if you measure time by each, each time the market moves from the previous extreme by this amount, you will have a new time tick. And if you use this kind of time scale, the returns are normal everywhere.
I mean, in my case, in the first place, I wouldn't be trading some news. Okay. Because the things that just to get, first of all, to forecast news correctly, it's extremely difficult. And to get news delivered to you very fast, it would cost around 100,000 a month. There are specific news providers, which give you the news extremely fast.
Yes, they are co-located with your algorithm, yes.
Oh, no. These are agencies which they would give the news from the source when they are being released immediately. This is not nothing to do with collocation.
Yes, from what I know, for example, no, but I mean that the news server is co-located with the trading servers. So Reuters, for example.
No, I can't even get it. Let's say, for example, that the National Bureau of Statistics of US releases some figures. These are people that have their agents within the bureau. At the moment that they are about to be announced, they are already being pushed on the servers before anyone else.
Yes, but then when the moment to release the news came, the news has to travel from the agency server to your computer.
Yes, but this has nothing to do with collocation, though. This has to do that you're paying a direct connection.
I understand, but for example, if the server of Reuters is not connected in the same data center as the exchange, the signal will have to travel there. So from what I know, for example, I know that Reuters and the big agency have servers co-located in the data centers, so that when the time hits, when the embargo
Yes.
end, the news will be released in the same millisecond, even in the same millisecond as the actual time.
Yeah, but I mean, but to train to this thing, you have to pay serious amount of money.
Oh,
And I know many people that even though they pay this serious amount of money, they didn't make anything yet.
This if you want to trade the first reaction, but after 30 seconds you can trade the reaction itself.
No, after 30 seconds, you trade the rebalance.
Yes.
I mean, otherwise there will be rebalance or there won't be rebalance, so you have to study that thing.
Yes, in general, if it's a surprise, the move will continue. If it's not a surprise, it will usually be traced. So.
But again, depends with, look, what kind of time frequency trades you are. So how long is your maximum trade? Because I mean, if you're trying to grab trades that will last merely a minute or a few minutes, then you don't really care.
Yes.
There's a comment that came in from Steve. If you guys want to check that out, could call elastic time windows event or conditionally closed open bars. What events or conditions would you use to define the elastic sampling intervals and streaming of sequential data?
No, I mean, first of all, with regards to, okay, first of all, the non-elastic time frames have nothing to do with Fibonacci. This has to do with closed form equations by which you extract the correct data. With regards the cheaper services, there are cheaper services, but they are not as fast as the one that I'm referring to. These are the services that will deliver you the news before you will hear them on Squawk service, for example.
Interesting.
So yeah, I mean, there are plenty of like cheaper news services, but you will trade on the line. It's useless.
Because Jeff's got a question. I already asked. Are you using nonlinear elastic time frames related to? Oh, you already addressed that. What about Steve's question? The very last one. And then we'll get on to machine learning because I know that's going to bring up a lot of topics.
Okay, Jeff, what do you mean? No, the Fibonacci, I'm not using anything with technical in the first place. Even for the Bloomberg rotors, these are delayed news. These are not as fast as the ones that the market maker would see. That's with regards to Alex.
That's regarding Alex's comment.
Yeah.
Okay.
With regards to the elastic conditions, this has not purely to do with specific models of market impact that you see how many ticks you're going to collect.
Okay. So Alex has asked another, are you using separate systems in process, backtest, and analyze OLTP in memory and OLAP for historical data?
We have written our own database in the first place.
An actual database with indexes, or is something like thread files?
No, actual database which runs as a kernel driver on a Linux server.
So Alex came back with database technology and memory database separate for historical data?
Yes. So there's a database which is purely memory mapped and also serves also as in memory in a similar way as KDB works.
So it's two different systems or just one in memory?
It is one database which can work both in memory and as memory map files.
Because it's your own. Go ahead.
But it's partly lying one layer above the kernel.
Well,
so all the posts are optimized.
Well, let's just address this, because would you say out of all the technologies that you use, the database is probably the key ingredient to a lot of your success, just because of how?
For the trading, not really. For the running the models to be able to check data, yeah.
Okay, so there's that answer. Now,
so are you using direct feeds with the market, or are you using something like a consolidated feed?
No, fixed servers have like different fixations for different brokers.
So you are building the order book in memory, right?
Both in memory and as memory map file.
And are you considering moving to FPGA? Because I know that a lot of traders are using this for tick management.
No. Why? There's no reason.
Parsing fixed costs some ticks, so some clock ticks.
No, I mean I'm not that sensitive with regards to execution.
Okay.
So the strategies are quite within reasonable limits immune to execution times.
Because Shane asked for an intro. This is being recorded, so just listen to that intro as part of the beginning of the this video when we get the playback up. Do you want to talk about machine learning? Because Edwala asked about how much of a role does machine learning play in your system?
Pretty much the whole system is a machine learning model. Let's put it this way. So I think the best way to put it is imagine that you have an engine or a search engine that you are able to say at any given point in time, take all my data right now of the market, how it behaving with any indicator or whatever, and tell me whenever the same thing has occurred in the last 10 years. That is essentially sort of, I wouldn't call it machine learning, it is more machine reasoning. Because you're not trying to create a black box, you're just trying to extrapolate things that have happened almost in a similar way, but in a real-time fashion. So at least our system is capable of, we can send these queries, and a query like that will take roughly 1 million altogether.
Can you say what inputs are using besides price data?
Only price data.
So nothing like positioning data or news or sentiment or stuff like that?
Nothing like that. I honestly don't care. I mean, the only thing that I care is when on the news that the system wouldn't trade.
And implied volatility, for example, or nothing?
No, absolutely nothing. I mean, but again, don't forget, I mean, my background initially was from market making, so, I see only data.
But for example, don't you modify your algorithm when the news event comes, or don't you stop your algorithm or enter special mode?
The algorithms know when they are in the news, and they just don't put any trades themselves.
Okay, so you do use, for example, the calendar as another input.
Hey, but that's not an input. That's a switch. Don't do anything. Okay. That's not an input to the strategy. That is like saying, for example, at a specific amount at a specific.
But don't you have to take this into account when backtesting? So if you know that when you'll be live trading, you'll stop ahead of an event, don't you have to do the same thing in backtesting?
Yes, obviously. But this is not though something that would change the behavior of the strategy. This is just something that we just switch off.
Yes, something like a risk model.
Alex came up with an interesting question. Could your system adapt to a 2008 level event? Have you backtested drawdowns for that year?
Yeah. It doesn't get affected. But this is down on more checking specific patterns, which always occur. I feel like, look, for example, yesterday when I was having like a Skype session with Brian, I was showing him some things from some of the probability distributions that I'm generating. And Brian can say, there are some patterns which are specifically unique in a very funny way to some instruments, and which always repeat. So it's just a case just to be able to generate the models that they can find these patterns.
Yeah. George?
It's the proper version of arbitrage.
George put up a comment. What's your belief on this comment? Either Gigi or Lennon Quant. Automatic trading affects the order flow of the products is trading. Principal order flow can change and affect how traders around it. Is there a limit on how long one can use an automated trading system before it becomes ineffective? no longer generates profit. What's your feedback on that?
I think it comes down to the strategy. Is the strategy that needs to be optimized or not? If it's a strategy that only needs to be updated with the latest data, so it's like more of an online system, I wouldn't say that that system will have a problem.
And you believe in not having in using optimization at all in your strategies, right?
I am completely against it.
Right.
My view, it is the way of people that don't really understand the markets.
Okay.
So it's kind of like trying to do something in a blind way, just trying to find something that works.
If you don't optimize, won't your strategy be underfit? Or
No, I mean, first of all, look, it's like saying, I'll put it in this way. If you had a possibility to find in less than 0.001 of a second something that has occurred exactly in the same way before in history, you don't care about optimization. You're trying to find similar cases.
but that is just the alpha signal, but you also need to take your positioning and risk management, and that stuff can also be optimized.
No. On optimization, it's an absolute freedom. And either you have done, my background is pure mathematical. Either you have done your homework and you know how your market impact will work, how much you're affecting, how much you're taking, where you're going to execute, how it's going. And these are closed form formulas. These are ones that just do a stress test, not optimization. Otherwise, you're going to run into serious problems.
But how can this be a closed form problem if you don't have if you don't know what others should be doing? Because that's also part of the.
There's a huge amount of literature about market impact models. I mean, I could be quoting articles in today tools more, at least on the one that I've read. Then it just comes down to how good is your backtesting system. I mean, our backtesting system is much more of a market simulator than a backtesting system in the first place.
So are you like simulating the actual fits of the market with microsync level data or with
Yeah.
packets or?
Yeah, everything.
So you are using like a packet replayer, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I also do. I mean, I will record for each packet of market data that I receive. I also record the exact timestamp I receive, so I don't have to rely on the broker timestamp.
And look, in our case, we're also taking information from at least 4 different venues. Full 20-level order book. So there's lots of work that you can actually exploit when you're seeing 20 levels from 4 different venues.
So what are you trading mostly? I assume stocks or?
No, that's what foreign exchange. This is not a retail system in the first place. Just here.
But you would consider it definitely a high frequency system, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Alex got a question. So you're talking about mean reverting strategies on the US dollar?
No, this is not mean reversion. This is arbitrage from statistical arbitrage, from the fact that something occurs in a specific manner, and you know that what will happen afterwards will happen almost by 80% probability.
There you go. So you're using pattern recognition as a way. Anybody else got any questions at all? We've run out of questions. Alex got, do you use consolidate bar data from ticks, or do you make second or minute based queries of the database?
Both.
Both.
For different reasons. Big data is just to be able to simulate again the market when I'm doing backtesting. with regards to second bars or mini bars, just if you want to get a quick view of some particular range of the time series, the best way to do it is just because if you're taking out ranges and not the actual prices, just use bars. It's easier.
Yeah.
It depends the purpose of the world on what you want to do on it.
So he came back with, what do you think of new SQL, or do you use your own NoSQL database with a C++ API?
Well, I think that has been, one of our conversations with Brian that I don't know has taken place now months. That our database is a little bit of NoSQL, it's a little bit of SQL, and it's a little bit of a graph. But it's a database which has been designed only for two data structures, only for bars and only for dates. Nothing else. It's not generic. It can do only two things very well.
Is it distributed or a single machine?
No, it's distributed.
Do you want to talk about T-files and your interpretation of why you recommended me to use T-files?
Yeah, because otherwise, dude, you're going to spend like your life trying to find the ideal database. And there are some excellent databases, extremely fast, but you have to pay some serious dollars. So if you want to use something out of the box and at least to save files, at least save things in an easy manner, this guy has written like a very decent project. There are things that that can be optimized with regards to how to save the files, but as it is fine.
Yeah, I agree. I've got a video on it. Question from Shane: was your average trade length in wall clock seconds? Average price differential pennies or ticks?
No, now they're pennies. First of all, we're dealing for an exchange, so everything for us is down to pips. So the average strength length would be a minimum of 4 pips. You get 4 pips, you get up. With regards to the average strength length in wall clock seconds, it has to do purely with the pattern. There are patterns that will last maximum for like 2 minutes. And there are other ones that will last maximum for 5 minutes. So, with regards to how do you use multi-color to test multi-parametric methods?
From Shalom.
There are a couple of models with regards to market input analysis that you're doing pretty much stress testing with almost a Monte Carlo. You see there are some variation of Monte Carlos just to see where you have conversions. It's only you're almost using the Monte Carlo just to test your hypothesis. That's all.
Did you get that from Alex? What do you think about open source to memory databases used in conjunction with?
I
do.
I hate Hadoop. I dislike Hadoop. I dislike all these things. I think about, again, they serve a purpose for something completely different. They're very generic. I deal with only things, sticks and bars. And that's why when we were building our database, we weren't trying to build something that is generic. It has two structures only, and it has been super optimized only for these two structures.
Are you using in-memory compression like BLOSC or LZO or like that?
No. Because also we have servers of 1 terabyte memory RAM.
Yeah, they're big monsters.
So we don't really care about saving space.
Yes, but they also help with the bandwidth because you have to stream less memory or less data from the memory. So the benchmarks show that LZO is faster than raw streaming.
The moment that you have 4 Xeon processors and 1 terabyte of RAM, the bandwidth is not your biggest killer. Serialization is your biggest killer.
Serialization to what?
Of whatever data you have to send them over the network. To send
you mean when the client requests data from the...
Exactly, yes. Yeah. Serialization is the biggest problem always. you send things over the network, especially you have like double P1 connection, you don't care. The double gigabit connection, you don't care at all. Also, again, the same thing in memory. Again, you don't care because if you have all your files as locked in memory files, you can do like queries in parallel for the same files. It doesn't matter. They're lock free. The problem comes down that suddenly you want to send over, like let's say 5 days worth of big data to a client. What is the best way? Serialize them. That is the problem. And the things that is funny now because it's better, for example, to if you have a gold class, for example, big ask price, and size, to convert yourself with a big converter to bytes native like from .NET than to use Pokemon. It will be faster. Fine enough.
Yes, I also store my data in binary and I compress it to save space, so I get like 10 to 1 compression.
For me, trust me, compressed, when I'm about to send the data, compression is the least of your concerns.
Oh, I understand.
Because when you're sending big data, you're going to spend more time serializing and deserializing on the other side than actually sending. So most people end up trying to compress it. There's no reason. You're going to spend more time compressing for what?
You can skip the.
And actually, you really want to compress it, in a fun way. That's why in a text file, anything that's a text will compress better than anything else.
I was wondering about serialization because if you are using C++, you wouldn't need to serialize it because the data will already be serialized. So are you using other languages or?
Yeah, because also have like some buffers which are in .NET.
Okay.
And also the thing that some things have to be universal. So, and the moment that forget it, if something is written as a memory map file, fine, it's already actually serialized. But the moment
in .NET you can actually access data without serialization because you can pin the pointer, so and then you can access it just like a structure. So you don't have to deserialize it. But this assumes that you are using only plain data.
Yes. This is when you could do it DCL. But things become more generic than that. That's the problem. And when you want to send, some big chunks of data, it becomes even bigger problem.
Because Alex got a question about being lock-free for multiple threads.
Sorry?
Last question from Alex.
Yeah.
Is your system lock-free for multiple threads?
Oh yeah. But nowadays this is standard practice.
Oh, do you encrypt your data?
No, there's no reason. Everything is local for us.
Shalom came back with, what do you use to estimate the current span of memory in your market? Set of possible market behaviors that are already factored in the price.
This all comes from the machine learning system. So the machine learning system just only takes prices, and that's specific amounts of prices.
Got a follow-up, Shalom?
But nothing with if you think like technical indicators or anything else.
Because
Are you using standard machine learning techniques like SVM or random forest or something like that?
Nothing like that.
I'm going to unmute Shalom. I think he's been dying to talk to you for the last couple of days. Hang on for a sec. Go ahead, Shalom, if you're able to talk. Shalom?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Right.
You're live on with the London Quad.
Okay, great. I understand that machine learning would be used in this case. I was just wondering if you could elaborate any further on how you go about selecting the set of possible market behaviors to include at the current span of memory.
Absolutely.
Okay.
This purely comes from finding breaks in the probability distribution. So when you are analyzing how much a price range can change from, let's say, 1 minute to the next minute. And you could see in over 10 years worth of data. So you see that there are specific pattern, specific probability distributions for specific times of the day, specific types of the market, specific currencies. So certainly you're taking into consideration at least 10 different probability distributions.
Okay.
So this is actually when you combine them.
Right.
So you're practically exploiting that when something has been distributed in a specific manner and in another manner, and I don't know, it's at 8 a.m. then, and this thing happens, then that thing will always happen.
So the breaks are like discontinuities, like regime shifts, stuff like
Yeah,
that?
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
It's almost like saying, I think that that's not a real example, but it's almost like saying that if, let's say, something has moved, I don't know, let's say 5 pips in one way, then after X amount of time, it will move, let's say, 15 pips in another way.
Right, I mean, you could say a regime shift is caused by market prices moving outside the current span of market memory. And when that happens, so that causes a panic and prices go one way or the other quite a distance, and that causes that discontinuity. I think you might be that. Do you analyze the SPX at all? Do you put that data through your system just to see what it says?
No, I don't.
I'm curious. I know you're a forex trader, but I mean, if the S&P 500 crashes, I mean, the dollar would probably shoot up quite a bit. Wouldn't that affect your forex trading? So wouldn't that be like a risk indicator for you if the market was about to crash?
It wouldn't be a problem because the things like that have happened before.
Oh, and your system's been robust to that. It's been in very...
Yeah, so I mean, look, when the Solomon Brothers happened, it wasn't like a planned event that everyone was about to announce that yes, they would crash. It just happened. Right. So the more data you have in the system, the better. So this is why. So I'm sorry, Salom. This is what I'm probably referring to be able actually to search all the data at any given point in time and find these patterns from real time.
Right. Do you manually just look at the S&P 500? Do you follow it at all? Or you don't look at it.
I don't care.
You don't care.
What?
So you don't look at it manually. Okay.
Well, what kind of metrics would you use, Lynn and Quant? Anything? Any kind of indexes that you look at, or I mean, for impact?
There are some strategies we run on equities, but they are completely different.
What do you look at for volatility indicators? I guess you don't look at the VIX because you don't care about the S&P 500, but are there any currency volatility indicators that you look at?
Well, there's usually one of Deutsche and one of Barks. There's the one of JP Morgan. But these are like lag indicators. It's just say how much volatility there is lately on effects on the G10 currencies. So this indicator is actually lagging. So maybe if you want to speculate that you want to carry a trade that will last for 1 month, then there is a reason to look on that indicator, but otherwise there's no reason to go.
Anything else you want?
Volatility, is it better to look at standard deviation or average true range, or do you look at both?
Actually, I look at neither.
Okay. Interesting.
Actually, I look at neither.
Do you look at MAD?
I look on specific ways of how return rate changes.
Okay.
So it's like saying that you're trying to find a specific signature of how return rate changes in the last X periods.
Right.
Anything else, Shalom?
No, that's all for now. Thanks.
Okay, I'll put you back on mute, but let me know. Okay, we got 2 more questions came in from George. Where does volatility play in your trading system?
I think that was the same thing like Solomon was just like, none. I mean, we trade volatility, but it's micro volatility. So no volatility of breakouts or anything like that.
This is a good question from Go continue, man.
I mean, like, look, there will be people that will be waiting like crazy for some whipsaw to or have a breakout from a whipsaw. In my case, I can actually trade in whipsaw. I think that's the difference.
this is a good question from Shane. How do you divide your research time, improving technology implementations to strategy development? What percentage of time on each, and is there some other activity worth more time? I mean, how many? How many? Go ahead.
All the models, all the models were developed in a matter of like 2 years time, and all our time now is down just taking out the trading system and improving the program, and actually refactoring a big time of code down to Linux.
I mean, why don't you give people an idea of how many hours you spend a week? I mean, you're literally up. One time you said for 3 days solid, no?
But look, but these are stuff that there are things that pass from my hands, there are things that pass from other developers' hands. So, when we have the opportunity to hire more developers, I have the opportunity to see only specific things, but primarily is development.
I mean, you're like a machine. Just program.
And also, I think like most of our time now we spend it on the program that we wrote, which is like actually our own liquidity tool. So this is actually where most of the work takes place.
Right.
That's improving that server.
And then Alex came back. So it works like a mean reverting seasonal temporal strategy based on correlation optimized by a genetic algorithm. I think that's what was meaning, but
it works like a mean reverting. It works like more or less seasonal on specific patterns, but it's not optimized by any genetic algorithms. Because if it was genetic algorithm, it would get optimization, and this doesn't get optimized. That model, you only give it more data, and the model that I give data just learns it. It doesn't run anything. So neither decision trees, neither GA, neither neural networks.
Did you get Alex's last comment? You don't like GA. You prefer
No,
just.
I don't like GAs at all. I like decision trees a lot. I do not like neural networks.
I have a question regarding your patterns. Are they fixed in time or can they float? As in, you strictly look at 8 p.m. pattern, or you also allow patterns which can start at 10 p.m. or at 10:30 p.m.
They're can be at any given point in time.
And do you also have fixed in time patterns, for example, NFP pattern or news release pattern? Or
there are specific patterns, for example, on when some ECNs open at different locations.
And can I ask you around how many forex pairs are you trading?
Around
10 pairs, 20?
Around 12.
For the majors.
Yeah, pretty much.
And are there any reasons why you didn't expand to the others? Because most venues have at least 40 pairs.
Because the spreads are really ridiculously high, even on
the cost of trading, right?
Yes, and especially for the time frequency that we would call a trade.
So this means that your average move that you capture is pretty small. So
exactly, yeah.
The question came in about SVM for patterns.
No. Again, SVM is a black box model. SVM is a pure general regression. It's we're trying to fit things on a general method. There is no reason. You can find things, but not the things that we don't find.
And Alex follow up with another question about SOMs or technically NNs, neural nets through no.
Sorry? No. SOMs are a category of neural networks. They are. But they are used. In my opinion, they are better for equities, not for things. SOMs can actually give you better trading pairs than integration can.
Came back with Alex got a lot of questions here. more technical questions if you got this. So you don't like MATLAB, R, or Python for backtesting. You prefer .NET for backtesting and C++ for production.
I don't like MATLAB or R for the reason that people get spoiled. People get spoiled, then suddenly they start using tools like SVNs or whatever, but in reality they cannot even solve them by hand. So, it's a bad practice, and especially when you're dealing with money.
And what about go ahead .NET?
With regards to .NET, primarily for user interfaces and some communication methods. Initially, everything was written in .NET, just because it's easier to put the skeleton around .NET. And then from there, we start shifting everything to C and C++. Just because for me it's easier.
So what are you using for communicating? Protocol buffers or?
No, we have our own civilization. Protocol, I mean, this is why I said before. If you're going to have, for example, as I said, a core class, and you're going to use a binary formatter versus protobuf, the binary formatter will be faster.
Yes. There are some new versions created especially for financial markets, which are more fixed, more limited, but much faster.
Well, there's even specific versions from fixed protocol, which is extremely fast, but in the end, sometimes there are specific hacks that you can do just to chunk your data.
So I have a very random question. Do you use splines for anything?
No. No, I mean from.
I was thinking maybe you are using some like fitting some older data, and because splines are very good at fitting data, so.
No.
That's
No. I mean, look, yeah, I mean, from, for example, from, let's say, evolutionary models, the only thing that I do believe strongly is genetic programming, or not genetic, evolutionary programming, just because you have something that divides you the model.
So you don't have a problem with black boxes?
No, but it's not a black box. I have a problem with black box, it's a serious problem. Genetic algorithms is a black box.
But in genetic programming, how do you know that if a piece is needed, or you don't understand how it works?
Of course you understand, it gives you back the code.
Yes, but you don't know the logic behind it. I mean,
you know the logic. Of course you know the logic. I mean, you can take an equation and examine it. I mean, like take the example with the cat from Newtonian. They give you back an equation, and at least you can check out the statistical properties of the equation. It's not a neural network, but it does a polynomial, a super polynomial fitting. What are you saying?
Yes, but genetic algorithms have the problem that they usually give you a very big solution, so you need to see what can you remove from it.
Yes, but there's a difference between genetic algorithms and genetic programming. Okay. Genetic programming runs a program. I don't know if you know the difference between the two. In genetic algorithm, you have an equation with missing coefficients, and you're trying to find the coefficients. With genetic programming, you don't have an equation, you don't have coefficients, so you have a program that writes you the equation for you. There's a big difference between the two. The one thing, on the one, you're assuming an equation and you're trying to fit or superfit the coefficients. On the other one, you have no equation, you make no assumption, you say, find me an equation. Okay. So then, actually, what this system gives you back is actually a number of different equations, which at least you personally can examine mathematically and statistically to see, is it a correct model? Is it logical model?
But this only works if the model is very small so that you can humanly analyze it. For some bigger models, it wouldn't be possible to do.
I wouldn't say so, actually.
I'm thinking about not an experiment, but they did genetic programming to optimize the deployment of some stuff on an FPGA, and it worked. And they discovered that they had a random unconnected resistor somewhere on the chip. And they were wondering what that resistor there is not connected to anything. And they removed it. And when they removed that resistor, the algorithm stopped working. And they, after much further analysis, they discovered that resistor put there somehow provided a capacitance to other parts of the circuit.
Yeah, so, but there's a difference between describing physical system and describing something that's purely mathematical. So if just, for example, and I'm not even the biggest fan of Newtonian, but the guys have done a good job. So you have, let's say, a program that gives you back an equation, and you're able to examine that equation mathematically. You see exactly which are like its breakpoints. You see is it like a linear, non-linear. Do all your tests. Do all your hypothesis testing.
No, I understand, but I think that this only works for small models with a handful of equations.
No, not at all. I can tell you because Brian has seen my program with generating equations and can generate some pretty good models. And I mean big models. The problem is how, in which order you generate the models. I think this is where many people that have done AI in the past, at least on the research level, they will have different approaches. So there will be people like the guys from Newtonian, for example, that will say, look, I will allow the program to find an equation, however good it is, which I'm against it. You might get a third person, let's say, to generate equation without coefficients, then take the best candidates, then out of these candidates, create equation with coefficients, then out of these equations, get models which are non-linear autoregressive. So actually, I intervene at different steps while the program is working, just to give it more mathematical logic, or actually to direct. It is somewhat like, when people speak always about, mean reversion and point regression, and they're using, whichever method, make it cooler without even knowing how it works. Just and then suddenly they're using some pairs trading, and the pairs do not really trade well. We don't know why. Well, on the whole play, we're assuming linear connection in the data. We like that. So if you're able to generate a mean reversion model which is non-linear, well, it will be more logical than anything else.
But when you say that people don't understand, I mean, the co-integration is clearly defined, so
no, the mathematical logic is yes, the mathematical logic is as shady as Black-Scholes model. It makes very bad assumptions.
Yes, not very empirical.
Yeah, it's very it's a very nice mathematical model. It's like it's a nice trick, but that's all. It's like doing Black-Scholes and you're assuming that you have normal distributed data. I think so that's the problem usually with some models. I mean, and this is why people question before MATLAB, what people are using MATLAB, and they get spoiled, and then they're using the same programs, and if you ask them, right, they'll make it cooler from scratch. They will not have.
Yeah, exactly. I can attest to that for sure.
So I think for me that's the problem with R or MATLAB. I mean, I've written everything from scratch. So.
We got a question, a generic question. Your biggest challenge you face now: improving models, liquidity, technology, other.
Looking at orders. So just find the right ratio of orders, how so we can work so we can when some more risk management. Right.
Yeah, here I'm just copying the next question from Shalom here. This one's quite wordy. Can you read that okay? I missed a part here. Hang on here. He's asking about volatility. Right here. Yeah, what?
There's two parts to that, Brian. You copied both?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So when creating your own volatility function, what are the basic input parameters you must consider?
And then I proposed something. I just want London Quad to comment on that.
Yeah.
I would agree. I think once we discuss with Brian, because there's usually discussion if technical trading works or doesn't. It's actually mathematically proven. It is proven mathematically that it does work, just because of the sheer number of people that use it. So what you propose, it could work out as model. I think the question is how you put together. Yes, certainly. I think usually the problems that help people really define the psychological breakout. or threshold level. This is like kind of like random. I mean, someone like reading a newspaper, or, and different analysts would say different levels based on what they learn from their precursor strategists.
I mean, the psychological price threshold level could be like like the 100-day simple moving average. Like it seems to
Yeah.
be right for the S&P 500. It's testing it for the fourth time in a year, so that seems to be a threshold level. The thing is how is the price, if the price crosses that level to the downside, what price path does it take? What's the velocity, and what's the current span of memory within the market? Because volatility may or may not go up as that level gets penetrated, right? We don't know.
Or it go up. Well, I mean, it can go up, like maybe maybe fairly late, for example. I think this is. I mean, these are some of the stuff that many people I know that they're trying to experiment with, neural networks, for example, just because it's such a random problem. What you're going to enter inside.
Right.
In my opinion, that it will be easier first just to test some hypothesis with regards to if something happens, does it confirm your testing?
Right.
For example, as you said, like they say, if it has occurred so many times, then there is some connection. But is it connection or just some correlation?
Yeah, the thing is that there's a sample space problem because you don't really get too many market crashes. There's really not that much data. So it's about the behavior. It's about analyzing the behavior and seeing if there's a high probability based on past behavior and everything you know about how the market behaves, that there could be a real volatility spike or crash.
I think the only way to solve this problem like that is if you have at least reasonable enough data and try to run it through a decision tree. And
Right.
decision tree a decision tree probably would find some connections there, I guess.
Well, the decision tree would be the input, or would it be the output from the model?
No, you will enter all your information to the decision tree as either intervals or numerical values with the output if there's going to be, let's say, an increase in the memory of the market, memory span or not, for example. So you can actually have different trees with the same inputs as different outputs for different forecasts.
Now, the inputs that I propose, I mean, it would take some work to come up with these inputs. They're not trivial. But do you think these would be the right inputs to look at?
Certainly. I will have to give it more thought, but I think the only question would be how you're going to categorize them.
Yeah, how are you going to classify or compute these things? These things are
Exactly.
not easy. But I think it's exciting because I think I finally described what I need to do. Now, to do it is tough, but at least you know where you need to.
I think, look, as far as you're able to find logical reasoning and explanation of the problem, and you can actually be able to put it down, as a table with columns and what happens as an output, then the easiest thing to do, if you don't even want to write a decision tree, there's this website, it's called Big ML. Just put your data there, you pay $100 and they can give you the tree.
Do you want
So
to take?
you just put your input parameters into the website and they do the machine learning for you?
Yeah, they do not have I would say, the best algo for machine learning, but it does work very well.
Okay.
It's called Big ML. Actually, let me write down on the forum.
One word, bigml.com.
Exactly, yeah. And alternatively, you can use the machine learning service of Azure from Microsoft, which actually is a very good machine learning model. But it's actually quite complicated. But it needs some study. In comparison to Big ML, it's much more kind of like wizardry, just put your data and click OK.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
We got another question.
With regards to the GA and the GP, GA are genetic algorithms. They are only dealing with finding the right coefficients. GP, which actually the best way is to put it as evolutionary algorithms and evolution programming. These are programs which actually write programs. So it's like saying that, as as I said before, on the genetic algorithm, you have an equation, you don't know the coefficients, and you are running the equation through the GA, and you find the right coefficients to satisfy your best outcome. With the evolution programming, you have no equation, you have only your data, and you say, try to combine them in the best possible way, and give me the 10 best models. But these will be models that you can actually design. These are not neural networks. This is very crucial to distinguish between the two.
Here's
And
another.
I mean, again, and actually, what Didi said before, I mean, they can be wrong sometimes, but as models, they're much more open than GA, certainly. And it comes down to your approach on how you're going to use any program. There's a whole class of algorithms there. I feel like, from evolutionary algorithms, everyone knows the GAs. Then you have differential evolution, you have particle form optimization, we have an algorithm, we have pupus, we have, you can identify whole groups with different optimizers. With programming, genetic programming, evolutionary programming, you have genetic programming, you have Cartesian programming, you have multi-expression programming, you have gene expression programming. There again, whole bunch of categories. Comes down to which one you prefer. Some of them are better or easier to program with, or to write. Some other ones are just insane to write a program.
Well, here's a comment from Steve. If you want to read that.
So difference between the No, I think that actually there's a huge debate on that. But the things that your chances to overfit a model are much less than GAs in the first place. And the reason why is that because you can actually say to the genetic programming engine that you have, for example, do not use any parameters. Try to extrapolate, if it's possible, an equation that will describe everything without parameters. Which, if you could do this in already, then you wouldn't be using GAs. You have the closed form solution.
What about this question from Jeff? Minimum educational barrier for entry to do HFT? Do you need PhD in STEMs related subject to succeed at it?
It depends. I don't know. I mean, most places that do high frequency depends. Is it market makers or if they are not? If they are market makers, then you have to program you are. That's the reality. I mean, the people that will get paid the most usually are some of the best programmers.
And here's Shane's question: how often do you change models or produce new models? What approach process do you use to develop a model?
I cannot produce new models just simply because I rely purely on my search engine that finds patterns, not specific patterns. So my model is on a model. It's actually something that I've seen before, and I know that it's securing all the time.
Question from Edwall. Do you specify the
mutation crossover requirement? No. The things that, for example, the mutation, the crossover depends the type of algorithm for evolution programming. There are different types of evolution programming that, let's say, they would use less crossover or more mutation and less crossover, or more crossover and more mutation. So it depends. In my case, it's purely random. I don't really care.
And go ahead, continue, man.
And the reason why is that because the actual program runs on a quite big machinery, so I can easily run model very, very fast. So the conversions will take roughly a few seconds.
And here's a response from Alex. If You got that related to Edwell. How do you deal with low-level selection, mutation, fitness, etc. levels?
With regards to, is this with regards to GAs or GPs?
I guess you have to ask Alex that. Alex, he said GA inside GP.
GA inside GP. So I haven't tried combining those GAs with machine learning to find out more inputs. I have done it before, but I have found better alternatives to neural networks. And the thing that for me that annoys me with neural networks is that I cannot have something that is logical. It's something that is just, it's a black box. I cannot analyze it whatsoever.
We have two Jeffs.
Like,
Sorry, we have two Jeffs. J Jeff, I guess.
yeah. Yes, that doesn't reply. There are ways to optimize your network with GAs, PSOs, or whatever, but at the end of the day, for me, at least personally, look, there are people that can be very successful with neural networks. It comes down to how you use them and how comfortable you do with them. But for me, I believe that there are better things than neural networks.
And then Jeff followed up with this question during London. How many periods are you nonlinear elastic periods broken into the UR? Euro?
I think this person would find that there are roughly two main periods, very, very early morning and afternoon, or after lunch.
And that's your time, right?
Yeah.
What about this question about have you ever tried GP software called Disciplus?
No, because I've actually I have seen it, if I remember correctly, but the things that all of these programs are written on. First of all, on not the most optimized versions. So our version is first of all written on a assembler that we wrote to be able to export knowledge. So it is. I think the best way to put it is in comparison to Newtonian, which is a very good benchmark where at least 100 times faster.
And then Alex came back with this question about GPs selects a proper GA from multiple simulated GAs.
Oh no, GPs actually write code. GPs is actually the closest thing to proper machine learning.
Any more questions at all? It's quite a bit.
Look, GAs, it's just a calculator. GPs is a programmer. That's the best way to put it.
That's a good comparison. So,
for example, there are versions of GPs that actually can design your networks from scratch and do the whole graph model.
So he's saying genetic programming for code generation.
It does code generation.
Yeah.
Every version of it does code generation. I think like there's even these guys. It's actually I think a UK company. I think down from Bristol. It's called Gene Express Tools. It's not that good, but even from their program, you can actually export the models in different languages.
Yeah, I've seen another one, TSL. Here I can put this one in. He's done a few presentations on what's it called, trading system labs or something like that.
No, this guy. I know which one you're referring to. No. These are very slow programs.
This TSL?
Yeah, these are very slow programs. I mean, when you want to run them down on second one bars, this thing takes forever.
You said that you have something like a Google to search for patterns. Is the search itself automated, or you need to manually search for new ones?
What do you mean automated or not? if, for example, you say to Google, give me all the time the latest search results of Microsoft, and you do it in a continuous way, it's automated.
Yes. So I assume that from time to time you expand your series of patterns that you trade, right?
No, I'm
I mean, you find new patterns. How do you find them? Do you find them in an automated way? Like each day you find new patterns and you analyze them automatically, or with
No,
more
the
manual?
patterns are already there. They are repeating all the time. I'm just spotting if they are recurring.
Okay, so this means that it's like a closed set of patterns, like no new patterns can ever exist.
They can exist, but the point is that having they occurred lots of times or enough that it will allow me to exploit them. Because if they have occurred only 5 times in 10 years of history, they're useless. They're outliers. But if they
More
occur
frequent patterns.
exactly, so you need to have at least a high enough confidence level that you can use something.
So do you search something like 1,000 samples or more? Or?
I'm certain 10 years worth of data. I'm certain 10 years worth of data. And look, this is why again, when
I was wondering each pattern, how many samples before you consider it valid? Like 100 appearances is enough, or you need 10,000 of them?
Depends the pattern.
So are you using cross-validation or similar stuff to test?
Yeah. Cross-validation, some hypothesis testing, some validation with all correlations to see if something moves in a similar way. Because sometimes just because something has the same pattern doesn't mean that's the correct thing.
Do you have something to guard against, for example, all the pairs going wrong at the same time? So, for example, if a news happens or something,
yes,
and correlation tend to go to 1. So, do you have something to guard against that?
No, I have specific patterns only for news. To identify that something is of a news origin. Look, generally with news, the spread will explode in the first place. So you wouldn't be able to trade there whatsoever. So if just finding a pattern shows that the codes or the ticks related to that pattern have a huge spread, that's probably not news event.
Are you also trading synthetics or basket of currencies?
Yeah, the whole thing is about currency.
So basically, you are doing like a basket arbitrage, right, or something like that?
Yeah, no. I mean, we're just starting as a basket because it's a nice way to allocate your portfolio, but that's all with regards to the basket. You can call it a portfolio if you know. But you can enter things in the basket at random times. You can remove money in the basket at random times. You don't have to enter everything all at the same time.
So I think that you are also searching for patterns related to a whole basket, or not only individual currencies.
No. Individual patterns.
I don't know if you've seen the comment from Jeff. GP writes code in which language is high level or low level like assembler?
No, I mean, it writes in an intermediate language that you define. So every program, or at least the major programs, have some intermediate language to be able to translate that code that the GP engine has written. So once you have that intermediate language, you can actually, write exporters to any language you want. I know that the gene export tools, they can do it almost on any language. Newtonian doesn't provide you any exporters, but it gives you the mathematical equation. Then they can just take the equation, just write it to make your own ones. With our version, it writes direct to assembly.
George came back with a question. Believe your system uses some form of machine learning strategy. Does your system make more mistakes? If you do you have safeguards to prevent errors that lead to losses?
It does make mistakes, but these are usually, generally, if something is going to be executed, you always have to intervene. you have to confirm. So it's almost like saying that, yeah, the system has code or some problem, but actually, when you have, look at them, you're not doing the right one. So you can just say, keep on.
Alex came back with.
But the occurrence is not that frequent. So yes, there are not that many GP libraries, just because it is not an everything. There are a couple of them, or there's actually a good number of them, but they are all inefficient. So nothing, as you'd say, production level, especially for big data. Forget it.
Alex came back with you code your own custom GP library. There are many.
This is what this is what as I replied. Yes, I mean our library, our GP libraries we design from scratch, everything written on a very low level. And when I'm saying low level, the models are actually implemented directly to assembly. Just you see the best thing. There are GP libraries, plenty of them, but they're all super inefficient. They're good for demonstration reasons, and if you want to do some equations, but if you want to do other stuff, no.
Another follow-up from Alex here.
And actually, I can even pass to Brian. I can actually post. There's a link with all the libraries.
Okay, that'd be great. Or you can just put it in the chat box if you want.
Just don't have the link back at work.
Okay, no problem. I can put it up later on. If you got this, so you're using Windows.NET for GUI passed into Windows using a messaging middleware, but it's replaceable for instance. Go ahead.
We still use, and we started initially we were using only .NET and WinForms. Then we shifted to something so again .NET with WPF, and now everything has been converted to C++ with Qt.
Another question from Jeff, if you're comfortable with answering this about how profitable you are.
2 years straight, and not public. Just because we are not looking for investors to cover.
Edwell's got a question. How do you verify the veracity of your GP confusion matrix ROC?
We can increase the size. It depends. Let's say you want to define, are you searching for an equation? Then I would care much more for example, tails index, correct directional change, root mean square error. But actually in that order, it's much more important that you are forecasting first in the right direction. It's also important that you have the right tails index, and root mean square error is something that you can fix later on.
Okay. Alex came back with a question about Windows GUIs. Do you like Qt library? You already mentioned that.
Yeah, I like Qt library, and this is why now we are converting everything to Qt.
How do you find it? Are you using QML or the old Qt?
Both actually.
I was wondering how you find it compared to VPF.
WPF. To be honest, I don't think that there's such crazy differences. I think for some common libraries, I think someone could even write some translator with regards to the common stuff. Especially because Qt had implemented the whole signal slow mentality, years ago before anyone else. I actually had done Qt before I had done .NET. So many things for me now just.
I used a lot of GUIs in my life, and I find that DPF was the best that I ever used. So it was like incredible what you could do with the few lines of code and the XAML files.
You mean that WPF, right? Yeah.
Yes, WPF.
I like WPF. but for us, it came down that, for pure speed.
Yes, it's very slow. Yes.
It's not slow. It's not. You can still use like still in DX, and you can improve.
Yes. So when I drew my chart in WPF, I needed to do my custom drawing because if I used its canvas, it was terrible. So.
Yeah, forget it. Yeah, and plus, it saves many things in bug. Debugging an XML file is a nightmare. That's the reality.
Yes.
You have to do dot tray, you have to do profilers right and left, but at least I don't know. At least what we did in the end is actually converting the code of other libraries or jargon libraries to Qt. Because Qt still suffer, or at least generally C++ systems still suffer from decent jargon libraries. And even though Qt has all the rest, and nowadays it has even some sort of 3D jargon library, but it's missing the 2D stuff, for example. So, what I've been doing for some time now is actually writing an API which is Qt based, but literally translating like some other open source libraries from .NET C++ with Qt. Just because the logic is similar.
What are you using for visualization? Are you displaying like millions of points or only small data sets?
No, millions of points.
So are you using OpenGL, I assume? Or?
OpenGL only.
Here's another tech question. HFT systems be designed for new Linux?
I don't understand the question actually. Linux is just a sort of license distribution. Most HFT systems are designed on Linux.
Here's another one. What do you think of religious .NET believers or for programming languages in general? .NET Windows is still limited by the OS versus Linux. From Alex.
Look, this is something that at least we'll have discussed with Brian. I think we'll have discussed it lots of times.
Yeah.
Because you want to achieve the best possible split, but then it comes down to how much you want to do your system. If you want to put together a system and how the architecture and how the skeleton and the algorithm is ready, .NET or Java or Python is probably resistant. .NET would give you a much more, in my opinion, generic solution, at least also with regards to user interfaces. .NET actually nowadays it's improved a lot to the point that a huge number of apps which run on most cell phone devices are actually written on .NET. Actually, right now the only way to write a proper cross-compatible program on cell phone devices is with .NET. So it has actually penetrated most operating systems properly. I think the problem it comes down to how fast it is in each one of them. But again, even with .NET, it comes down to how well you know the language.
But I just came up with a question. When you're saying cross-platform with .NET and obviously Mono with Xamarin, you're referring to something like Xamarin as the IDE for cross-platform using .NET?
No, Xamarin is only a layer above Mono. Let's not confuse it.
Okay.
Or it is actually a layer above Mono plus some other stuff.
Okay.
Actually plus many other stuff. I would be unfair to say. They have done lots of other layers of connecting with different OSs, but it's a language that actually, the moment that they release their CLS specifications, there have been many versions that many people have been trying to run on different OSs and actually quite successfully. The problem is just implementing the lower level stuff in a nice way, and especially with their garbage collector.
Yeah.
So usually the problem is that, let's say, there will be some crazy change on, I don't know, .NET 4.5 or 4.51 with huge improvements on the garbage collection. By the time that these changes take place, let's say with a mono compiler or a mono garbage collector, it's always like a year and a half minimum. So when people say that they experience that the mono sometimes on Linux is slow, it's yes, because by the time that people will implement new stuff, it takes time.
I was wondering, how are you storing your pattern? How do you represent it? So do you represent it like a time series, for example, in low resolution, or in frequency space, or?
No, counter blocks. I'm just seeing probabilities.
Another comment from Alex about the JVM. Why do he want it as garbage for high performance systems? I only see it being used for niche code generation on Android, for instance, or some video
Yeah,
games.
and I agree. Look, and I agree. I think, but the thing is, even from JVM, is not the most efficient. I mean, Scala does better job with JVM than Java does.
Whoops.
So it just depends. And look, I think it comes down to how well you know the language. I mean, if you ask me which language I would prefer to write, I would say C and assembly. It's just not that easy to write user interfaces in C and assembly.
I think, just to be fair to all our newbies, I think they're a little shy, so I'm trying to flesh them out for some more newbie kind of questions. Question from Jeff regarding systems deployed on Linux or Windows servers, your take on that.
Both.
What's your view on the future? Where would you like it to go, Linux or Windows?
It will be on Linux.
Okay.
And just for us, it was just easier to write initially everything on Windows, just to be up and running, and then start upgrading the systems.
Yeah, I've heard that. Is trading volume used as an input for system decisions to make a trade? From George?
Yes.
A question from Alex. So what do you think of Erlang's approach to multi-threading?
But they're not multi-threading, they're doing multi-processing actually. If I remember correctly. So Erlang's approach is everything is methods parsing with almost the equivalent of vector mode. I think I love it. I think Erlang is an amazing language. I'm a huge fan. But there are still things to do there. And it's still slow for some things. It's fine, but in my opinion, it's by far the most stable language to follow.
What about F#, of course, for me?
I knew that it was you that well. They're different. I mean, like, look, they're different. The mentality of F#, even though they're both functional, both Erlang and F# are both functional languages. But Erlang is different mentality than F#.
Yeah, well, F# stands for future. Anyways.
Or maybe it stands for fire.
Now we have children among the audience. Alex, how decent is FX volume data from LMAX accurate? That's a pretty good question.
They're very decent. And they have only increased in the last years. Actually increased quite a lot.
On what of their venue are you trading? The professional one or the institutional one?
Institutional.
So with the 100 minimal order, I remember.
Jeff asked...
and also that's also only one. I mean, that's one of our menus. Just to put it in consideration.
Question, what about Lisp or Clojure? I hope I got that pronunciation right.
Clojure is nice, actually. I mean, I'm neither using Lisp or Clojure. I've used LM quite a little before that. At one point in time, I used to work with RabbitMQ, and RabbitMQ is actually within completely in Erlang. So.
Ven asked a question, his first question for the night, I think. Was the ping time between your system and the exchange on average?
My system or the servers? It's a difference. I assume you mean the servers. About 4 millis.
4 milliseconds?
Yeah.
But we can.
But we have to look at it.
So why is it so big? It looks huge.
It looks huge, but it's, again, we don't care for the network so much, right?
No, but I was wondering because I was researching this, and you can find proximally located servers to LMAX or the London brokers like 0 milliseconds away. I mean, not zero, but under 1 millisecond. So,
Yeah, well, many people will say that thing, but
no, but I actually tried. So I opened an account for FXCM, and I did get under 1 millisecond in time. So I find
Yeah.
4 huge, and this wasn't even co-located; it was proximally located.
Yes, but in our case though, we are connected with 4 different, well, with with 2 CNs and 2 different prime brokers. So we actually, our bound is getting killed. There's a big difference between being connected with one session and getting a few ticks than being connected with actually 8 tick servers, well, sorry, 8 sessions at the same time, and receiving at least on both instruments more than in two recipients you receive 20 levels of order book, and with some of the prime brokers you can actually receive up to 40 levels of order book. We are speaking about different bounds they can get.
Guess GG's not responding there. Alex came up with so you go from C++ Qt. I mean, you got to reverse to .NET. You're going from .NET to C++ and Qt, right?
I was never a Java guy. This is the
Yeah. Why do you think I got out of Java too?
I was never a Java person. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I like the new version. I like the Java effects. I like how well they're taking it. I just think that it takes them forever to make changes.
Yeah.
If they were doing things faster on the Java effects side, I would be happier. I mean, actually, at one point we were discussing with Brian that I was concerned to migrate things on Java effects, but it's too slow how they're implementing things on their side.
Anybody else got any questions? Newbies, don't be shy now. Trying to flesh out you guys so you guys get an opportunity to ask. Question from Alex. Do you connect to multiple LPs through LMAX, or do you have independent connections?
Independent connectors.
He's got another one here. Are you co-located next to the exchange or in a data center like LD4?
LD4.
Alex said, so do City, JPM, etc. In addition to LMAX?
So hotspot, LMAX, and few PPs, 2 PPs.
Anybody else got any questions? Shalom? You out there? You got any questions? Oh, he had a whole pile.
No, I think I'm good for tonight.
You sure?
If I think of something else, I will definitely input it into the message box.
Okay. And do you use a Prime or Prime FX brokerage?
Yeah. This is why I said 2 more, so the 2 CNs and 2 PBs.
Okay. Anybody else got any questions? I think we're slowing down here.
Thank you very
Well,
much.
you know what I'm sorry, someone else is speaking.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Symbolic regression. Could you elaborate a little bit how you use that? Or if you use that?
Verification of some models that purpose for forecast. So let's say I want to have something like, let's say, Markov system, Markov reason. And I know that there are some changes of conditions. So I would say, okay, I know that when there are these conditions, for these kind of conditions, create this data and equation. And then with these set of conditions, create these different equations. And then I have the regime suites, just change the equations.
So you use it as part of your statistical learning stuff?
No, just to confirm forecast.
Okay. So it's not a prediction tool, it's just a confirmation tool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So George asked a question about majority of your system profits come from retail traders or institutional traders? Yeah, I don't know that one either.
I don't understand.
Okay, let me unmute him. George, just hang on. I know you can probably speak. Go ahead, George. George? Can you speak?
Oh, yeah. It's better if I could. There's feedback here. Can you repeat your question?
He didn't quite understand your question. Are you able?
Okay, you can mute me and I'll type my answer, okay?
Okay, hang on. Okay, while we're waiting on George. Alex asks, are there any financial sites you frequent besides your Bloomberg terminal?
Not really, no.
Are you looking at research on ArcSIM, for example, or SSSN?
No. Just simply because most of the people that usually write this research, they write some crap based on some what's called some technical indicators, and whenever I see technical indicators, it just get people in my face.
Actually, on ArcSIM at least, I never saw a technical or a bar. They always use tickers.
No, but when the people start speaking about like RSIs and some resistance level, that's usually when someone is dealing with some technicals.
Question. It was a follow up from Alex. So he asked. So no MNRA or SSRN. You don't buy the academia research papers at all.
Well, I am subscriber to what's called Science Direct, so I have access to most journals.
But I guess he's asking if you actually believe in them or use them.
There are some things that actually are very decent, yeah. And I still read them. I still read specific journals. I mean, I like the experts.
Why don't you talk? Why don't you talk about your extensive book collection?
Why?
Well, tell people how vast it is and how much reading you do.
This is what I like. There's nothing to read here.
But would you say that?
I have a question about one of your books, London Quad. The book on the handbook on neuroevolution. Yeah. So that is all about that one. You told me you really liked, and I took a look at it, and you said you don't use neural networks, but a lot of that stuff is based on neural networks.
No, actually, you see, that guy actually is writing a symbolic regression system that allows it to create a neural network.
Right.
On mistake. The nodes which write the system are distributed around the network as a neural network, which are themselves created. So they define the graph. So it's not really a neural network. It's actually a symbolic regression writing in neural network.
It's called a TWEN, I believe, a topology weighted evolving artificial neural network. So do you use stuff like that? Do you use TWEN?
No.
Have you tried?
But I've tried at one point to have a symbolic regression writing topologies for graphs of decision trees, but I haven't finished that process yet, just because using the architecture just to get it right.
So that architecture is described in the book was interesting, but it wasn't right for what you were doing.
No, I mean it is very interesting, but I mean for me it's also to be kind of generic enough as a production system.
Okay.
So I mean it is one thing to do it with with numbers, like trying to solve an equation or optimize a system, and it's a different thing. Let's say sometimes to also run a model that have categories inside.
Was it too slow for production? Was that the problem? That it was.
Slight. I mean, no, it's not. I don't think the problem is the speed. The problem is just the architecture. Just to know how you're going to use it. There's one thing. I mean, I think just to write some algos and to be interesting, but then to know how it would make your life easier.
Right. Okay.
Because Jeff asked where you can get the book. I show him if you can type that out.
It's a handbook of neuroevolution through Ellen.
I got the book off Amazon, but if you don't like paying things, I don't recommend it. But the book is up there on the web for free as a PDF, but it's not a legal copy. So if you wanted the PDF, it's up there. Somebody put the PDF up there for free. It's a $140 book, And I think the PDF was on sale for $75 a while ago from the.
I think there's, I mean, there are very few books generally on symbolic regression. I mean, you can actually legally count them.
Right.
You know, you have the one of, you know, your evolution through Erlang, which in reality is symbolic regression. There's the one of Caldera, or what's her name? That's wrote the book on gene expression programming. There are, then you have the books of course on genetic programming, which I think they were like almost like, I think, like 5 or 6 volume book, but that's all actually. It's not the field that you can find as many books as, let's say, with genetic algorithms.
Yeah. And another thing about that book is you could go down to the book website and download all the Erlang code that basically implements the models in the book for free.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. I'm looking for the link right now for that.
Yeah, if you just get the name of the book, Jeff was still asking.
Oh, it's the.
I wouldn't know. I mean, George, I wouldn't know. You know.
No, that was Jeff. Sorry.
I would have no clue whatsoever.
What was the name of the book, Shalom? Do you remember?
Well, I got the Handbook of Neuroevolution, and that's what I'm talking about. I'm not
Okay.
sure that's the same thing that London Quant's referring to right now, but that's what I was.
Yeah, it's exactly the same.
By Shear, yeah. The last name of the author is Shear. I think it's Sher. You could punch him in on. You could just say you right. Yeah, I'll find it in a moment.
No, I'm pulling it up, I think.
I gave it to you as well, so you have it somewhere. I have it here.
This is it, right?
Yeah, it's that one. Yeah, I mean, like, look, from most books, it's actually, these guys have done a very, very good effort with what they have written. I mean, they have explained everything to a huge deal.
Google lets you browse it more thoroughly. I think you'll get more browsing ability on Google, so I put down the Google link to that. So there you go.
Okay. Thanks, Shalom.
The code right now. Let's see if we can find it.
Yeah, Jeff, the replay will be put up on YouTube. So what was I gonna? Okay, so we got a question from Ven here. What part of the system do we need to fine tune and improve the ping time, strategy code, broker, API, hardware, network I/O, or everything? This is right here. What's the bottleneck, basically?
In my opinion, is serialization and strategy. The strategy, in my opinion, the strategy has to be completely stateless. The more stateless it is, the easier it is to run it.
So that comes down to software design pattern.
Sorry?
Comes down to software design pattern.
Yeah, pretty much architecture.
Right. Same thing.
But don't you have to keep the current pattern in like a buffer in memory for the strategy?
No, because the thing is that it runs from a memory map engine. Sorry,
But that
okay.
wouldn't be like a state.
It's a primary written state, so I don't have to do anything about it. I don't have to, you know, I read it actually directly from the solid state.
Okay. No, I was meaning that the buffer where you keep the current market state would be like a state of the actual trading hour, like the last 100 ticks that you try to match, like the current running pattern.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, can you just maybe explain in a different way, just maybe didn't go exactly?
Sorry, say that again.
No, I think I understand. I misunderstood something.
Right.
No, look, the thing is that everything, because our database is both an in-memory database and a memory map, with a very small life that anything that goes from the in-memory goes to the memory map side. So it's not that things really get lost. Okay, it might, you know, if something happens, you might lose some, you know, maybe a second and a half of data and state, but that would be all.
So basically, for each incoming tick, I assume that you are searching for the current pattern. I mean, for the current buffer, if it's in a pattern.
be honest, I cannot explain really if it's over a tick or a second or a minute. I mean, it has got to actually different also instruments have different time frames that you have to look for. Or if you, I mean, there will be instruments that you will find decent values on down to the second level.
Do you
Those
trade
values.
the euro Swiss dollar? Swiss francs, pardon.
No.
Because of the peg, or?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's the reason I am trading it. So I trade it exclusively for the last years.
For me, it doesn't have enough volatility or enough movement.
Yes, but at the same time, this means that this can't actually go very much against you because of the low volatility. But it's a different trading style.
Yeah, I mean, for me, if it is controlled so much by the government, it's like it. I think that's usually the issue. Someone was like saying that to trade, I don't know, how was it, like Singapore dollars with Swiss franc.
The Hong Kong dollar, I think, was the last.
Yeah, it used to be pegged. I think I'm not sure it's still pegged.
Yes, but the swaps are killing. So on that one.
Yeah, but but at the end of the day, if you're trading the spot, that's all you get. And especially if you're trading intraday spot for like maximum frequency of 10 minutes.
Yes, but that the Hong Kong dollar, because I actually looked at it, is very like dead, like doesn't move at all. So it stays within the spread.
Yeah, but then you cannot really do anything about it. That's the thing.
Yes.
I mean, I know people that they will trade it, but they will trade it because they will take it, a very long position.
Yes, and this was what I was looking at, a long position, but then you are killed by the spreads, by the swaps. So.
Yeah. Exactly.
We got another comment from George. Trading is a zero-sum game. One makes profit from another set of traders, losses. Majority of profits from retail traders or from institutional traders.
I think I just replied before. George, I have no clue. And to be honest, I don't care.
It's impossible to tell. So.
I have an impression of it. We got another question from Alex. What do you think of hedge funds? They seem not to outperform the market, like the efficient market theory. Would you say that's because you can make money through prop trading, or do not need to lose other people's money?
It's the pure mentality. Hedge funds operate on a model of fees. On their model is a fix. They will make better returns if they will just return maybe 10% per year and just kill you the 2+%. If you have started from a prop trading firm, then you tend to think more of not your own money, but you can be your own money, but you tend to think that you need to perform. You're not thinking about things. You're thinking about I need to outperform the others.
Anybody else got any comments or questions? Come up to almost exactly 2 hours according to my timer here. Oh, Alex, do you have any investment recommendations for long-term holdings? Do you hold index, ETFs, CDs, etc.?
No. Or no, there is some strategy we're doing is equities on the equity side, but it's very, very specific type of strategy. But nothing like the very, how you would call it, long term.
Besides these pattern-based strategies, do you have some like other class of models that are trading?
Equities.
Okay.
But it will be very, very specific type of equity trading.
And also based on patterns, or?
I know, just trading the whole index.
Oh.
I mean the whole index.
A couple of comments came in again. Alex asked, you're a pure trader and otherwise in cash.
I don't get it.
Yeah. George said, thanks for the discussion. Thanks for coming out, George. Daniel looks like he's got to go. Thanks, LQ. So we'll probably lose a couple of people. Thanks for coming out. Anybody else got any questions? Thanks, Brian. Alex, for long-term holdings, otherwise short-term FX speculation.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Jeff says thanks for coming out from San Francisco. Anybody else got questions? Edwald looks like he's dropping off. Shalom's dropping off. Everybody's dropping off. Night all. Night, everybody. Anybody else got any questions?
Do you monitor like the profitability of each pattern so that you know when to stop trading it or when to start trading it again?
Yeah. Yeah, always. I mean, every trade would be, in a way, tagged why it was traded and how it was traded. So then it's actually very easy just to call trades on some pattern and see exactly if it will perform or not.
Anything else, Gigi?
So are you like when are you at work? Do you monitor the market? I mean, do you have some GUI like it shows you real-time trading?
Oh yeah. I mean,
And the logic of the algorithm.
everything. I mean, look, everything has been from scratch down to the reconciliation engine.
Another,
We're doing reconciliation on a big level.
another question came in from Alex. Do you load data into memory for back testing? How much memory do you have recommend for a single node to handle an in-memory database?
There are two major servers. Each server is 1 terabyte of RAM each for zero processor. So usually these servers have the data in memory at all times. All the big data that we have of this.
That's over the 10 years, right?
No, if we want to do back testing for specific things, it will be only for 3 years.
Okay.
I mean, if it tries, it doesn't work after 6 months. It means that that doesn't work.
Do you keep the level 2 data in memory? I mean, all the levels?
No.
So only the top of the book.
On the top of the book, because then we do a simulation of the market index. That's why we follow the market index.
Do you have any strategies like which rely on level 2 data for trading? I mean, for alpha signal?
Well, yeah. Because all the partners rely on the order.
So there is this classic strategy like when order book imbalance. Do you use something like that?
It's a combination of the first level. Okay, let's put it this way. It's almost like the same that the majority of the weight you give it on the first level. But at the same time, you study what maybe can happen in the worst case scenario.
So this is for estimated liquidity or also for alpha signal?
Both. The liquidity is not a problem. We're speaking about effects. The liquidity is not a problem. In the worst case scenario, you want to throw in a big order, just go to one of the big deals.
So, but I noticed that from what I've seen, if you try to put a 20 million position, you will move the market like 1 or 2 ticks, at least for a second, for a few seconds.
Where it belongs.
Even on the elements, if you look at the public order book, which with depth information, if you go 20 million, you will hit like 5 levels in the book.
Yes, of course. If you're going to throw a market order, of course you're going to go to the book. But if you're going to put down a limit order, you're going to be filled almost immediately.
20 million?
Yeah, easily.
This is interesting. I also encountered it when trading manually. Like, of course, I traded at FXCM. But if you put a 5 million order, you will get a 0.3 pips impact, for example.
Oh. But if you're going to do it as a market order, of course. There's no discussion about it.
But it's interesting because if you put a 20 million, but I watched like for minutes the order book on Elmat, and I never saw the top of the book or the first 3 levels aggregated would go beyond 9 million. So,
but on the limit order, people will see that someone is trying to put an order and it will hit you.
So, yes, but wouldn't there from time to time wouldn't you see the 20 million?
No, of course not. On the limit order, you wouldn't see it, no.
Why? I mean, it is public, right? So unless it's filled in
No,
milliseconds, you
no,
see
because
split for a while.
no, because someone can submit a limit order and the ma- the matching engine sometimes can even put the orders or the actual liquidity as an iceberg order.
So you can hide the orders on LMAX.
I know, but actually they can hide, to my knowledge, they can hide some things. If you're going to move crazy volume, that's one thing. But I mean, we have encountered that you can put an order, and you can easily fill it. But if you want to move volume, you want to go on numbers in the first place. And you go to ABS. On ABS, you're going to get filled on 100 million immediately.
Like how many pips or
Immediately. No, you don't get it. I'm saying like you put down a limit order of 100 million and you get filled on the spot with no slippage.
I understand. Okay. But
But
this is interesting because, for example, there was this story like 1 or 2 years ago from a head of a FX dealing bank, which said something like a few years ago they had to fill a 800 million order, and they took in Australian dollar, Australian dollar,
Yeah.
and it took like half a day, and they had a market impact in the words of 200 pips.
That's
So-
stupid. Whoever did it is an idiot. Because if you go to some majors, if you go to EBS, okay.
But this was like the biggest bank in Australia, so I assume that they knew where to trade.
So Maguire, you're referring to, most probably. So, well, probably, either it was during the time that there was no volume, or someone was just trying to keep everything as a market order. Yeah, obviously you're going to keep everything as a market order, you're going to move the whole planet. But if you're going to move the volume, look, the famous trade, I think it was like what, George Soros or Warren Buffett? No, George Soros. Yeah, I mean, for that trade, he won $1 billion, but win $1 billion means that he moved more than $1 billion.
Yes, he moved the 10 billion. It's public, so
Yes.
he won
So
10%.
yes, but he didn't. But but in that case, he didn't move the market by 1,000 pips. It had to do with
Yes,
how you
but the market was hold, so that's why it didn't move.
No, but also has to do with how you execute. It has to do purely with the execution, nothing more than that. I mean, 5 levels is nothing. And again, Elmex doesn't have the biggest liquidity on the first place. It still is more like they're
I
doing
find it
very
very
well.
interesting because in their contract, for example, they say that the market makers, the banks, don't match against each other. They only match against the other accounts, the non-professional accounts. So this is very interesting. Like they are afraid of matching against each other. And there is another cool video on YouTube with their director, which says something like in their whole history, like 5 years, they had to throw away, to kick out like 5 traders because they were doing like arbitrage.
Yeah, but there's a big difference between identifying who is a market maker and defining who's a client.
So it's interesting, like you're saying that you're doing arbitrage. Didn't you run into problems with them, or it's not that high frequency?
But it's not that high friction in the first place, and second, we're not market makers with them.
Oh, okay.
And also the things that you can even do market making, which you can do passive market making, where you're placing such wide.
Yes, I think that they kicked out the latency arbitragers. So
Yeah, so I mean, if you're trying to keep there, like for the 0.1 pips, of course, this is like stupid. But if you're going to do an arbitrage with 5 pips spread, who cares? That's. I mean, people don't. I mean, most people.
I think they are concerned more about duration than the actual direct amount.
Look, most prop desks of most banks.
For example, I spread 1 pip, I scalp 1 pip all the time, and I don't have any problems. So, but it's not like a few seconds straight.
Yeah, I think usually the problem though is that with systems that like Elmo, for example, the cost, if you don't negotiate with them, the cost. I mean, if you have put more money, you don't negotiate, it's $25 a million is expensive. It's way expensive.
So are there any cheaper venues?
Yeah, but you have to go PB. That's the thing, I mean, then you can actually
They're like $500,000 or more.
Oh, much more than that. Because then, and also depending on your trading volume, because then you can actually negotiate it down to $8 million. stupidly expensive, but depending on your volume, they will take down your commission.
I've heard that it's quite easy to go down to 20, at least on the professional venue.
It purely has to do with how many yards you're doing. That's the only level of consideration. If you're hitting X yards and at least you're making them some good money from cost, they will take it down because then it's not in their interest, to leave you as a client.
Yes, of course. You can go to another thing.
And then you go to a BP or you can go to some other brokers and you can do, worst case scenario, you get charged $15. And even though it sounds like, small, if you say $15 and $25 a million, that's, it can make a huge difference from break even to make some extra money.
Yes, especially if you are like trading for 1 people.
Yeah.
So they also have this clause in the contract that they can close the market in case of fast moves. Did you ever have a problem with this?
They don't close the market.
They close the matching.
They close the order book. That is when there's a reversal of the order book.
So did it happen to you, to not be able to trade because they closed, or did you notice this?
It can happen with many places, that when you have order book reversal, that's the point when probably you've seen it when suddenly the peak and the ask are the same price. That's when you have order book reversal. Yeah, but the problem there is not really that. There actually you can easily enter a trade. The problem is if you're already in a trade and you get fucked by your stop loss because then suddenly when the order book reversal really reverses, then the bid and the ask widen like crazy. So this is where usually the problems can take place. So
But you didn't have the problem that you couldn't trade because they closed.
No. I haven't seen a close of the book for a long time. With many people haven't seen it for a long time. And look, Elements again is very specific. They allow only they don't allow the market makers to trade against each other, and they have very specific between. But again, as I said, with regards to 2,000 low orders, you can easily get to it. Easily. But only as a limit order. That's important.
We got 4 more questions that came in for some high-level stuff. Alex, do you use CentOS-based metal or no virtualization?
Linux from scratch, bare minimum. Just because we don't want to have any crap on the system. Doesn't mean I don't deal with any cryptocurrency. I'm so sorry. I know pretty much how everything works, but it's not really my thing.
Actually, I traded Bitcoin, so I can talk a bit. It's very low frequency at the moment. So, for example, right now I'm collecting their live stream from the biggest Bitcoin exchange, and it has something like 3 messages, 3 book updates per second. So it's very low frequency.
I can say for the Joe Trader and your SFT, I wouldn't use it. Then again, I can always depends on what you define as SFT, but usually, purely from the point of tech and knowledge and experience. Other systems for strategies, what do you mean other systems?
I guess for our rule, if you can retype that. And then Joe Trader enter an HFT?
No, I said no. I said that's answer. And with regards to the database, yeah, it only works with specific time series and only 2 types of structured data, text and colors, nothing more.
And then the famous question, R or MATLAB. Do you want to take that, London Quant? Because you already answered that already.
I hate MATLAB. R. If it goes between R and MATLAB, I would go R.
What about though, as you said about it makes people lazy?
Yeah, it's, but if I have two choices, then someone have to be the gun on my head, I would go for R.
Okay, but there are reasons why you shouldn't be using R as well. So Alex came back with, so you use Python for scripting on Linux, for maintenance of packages, but not for,
No, Plus.
with
Plus
Python at
is
all.
self-scripting, nothing more than that. Plus is self-scripting.
Okay, because I know Gigi, you've built your whole system around Python.
Yes, but I'm not a high-frequency trader, so.
Right. Okay. A couple comments came in. Shalom, yeah, Python has tons of bugs. Oh, I accidentally deleted something here. Your DB is designed so it can't work with unstructured data, only time series data.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what's your lowest time resolution, like microsecond or what, millisecond? Or how do you store it?
Just down to Linux 20.
Ah,
So that would be like, I think nanoseconds, so.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
any more questions?
And that's long. That's nice long run.
Do you use something like GPS receivers to synchronize your clock, or?
No, I mean, because it's always relative to, to how you receive your data, with regards to time, with regards to your time zone. So, if there's any problem, first of all, with fixed errors, you always try to do the synchronization of your timestamp at the beginning of the day with regard to the time. So, at the beginning of the fixed session, the timestamp will get synchronized, so it wouldn't be an issue because what you receive is not correct.
Are
But
you,
this assumes that the server time is correct, so.
No, there are always assumptions, but at least, even if they're incorrect, at least, you're deciding on one correct assumption.
what do you use Fix at all, Gigi, or will be?
What?
Are you going to be using Fix, or are you going to be using the broker's API? Or
I'm already using it for collecting data, but I'm trading through the normal API, so.
okay.
So I collect data through the Fix with my own engine, but I'm still using the older API for it.
Are you gonna
Actually, it's more tested.
So you're not gonna move your execution into Fix?
I am going to move it, but it's not a priority at the moment.
Okay, gotcha.
Like I said, it's not very high frequency.
So question from Alex: do you use KDE on Linux, and what's your preferred? I think it meant DB. We've already talked about that.
No, KDE, no, I'm not using any user interface whatsoever.
But
everything is done through remote desktop and self-scripting.
But you
or remote cell login and self-scripting.
yeah, but you like KDB. You always mention about KDB.
No, it's just KDE. No, he's referring to KDE of Linux, the desktop.
Oh, KDE, the desktop. Okay, right.
But where do you run then the GUIs which monitor the system, on your local computer or?
It's just easy. I mean, I don't see a reason why to run on a server like the whole.
I don't know, it makes sense, but I think that he also wanted to ask, in that case, on your local computer, what are you using, like KDE or no more?
Oh, no, for me, I just use Windows. Because, I still have my Excel and I still, depend on Word and, some normal stuff. And still, I still have to use my Bloomberg session, so it runs on Windows.
Development IDE, do you use Eclipse with C++, or what's your IDE for C++ and Qt?
No, so that's Qt.
Okay. Anybody else got any questions or comments for either?
With only exception that anything for the building, it will go through the CMA.
Right. So you develop everything on Windows and it's cross-platform and you can move it into Linux, no problem.
There's not so many dependencies on third parties in the first place, so everything's built nicely from the CMake. So
did you build your own fixed engine, I assume, or?
Yeah.
Another question.
That was years ago. So.
question came in from George. Sorry, Jeff. Do you trade independently for a bank fund? If independent, how do you structure your corp company for tax reasons?
No, just for fun.
That's a secretive question, I guess. Another question from Alex.
With regards to the tax reasons, just go and do a very good accountant or a very good lawyer and pay some serious amount of money to do the extraction of you. That's the best way.
Here's a humorous question from Alex about C++ dealing with pointers.
No, just no problem with pointers actually. At all. I never had a problem with pointers. I don't know why. Most people have issues.
Do you want to tell them about your triple pointer problem that you once told me about?
Oh, there are worse than that, dude. There are worse than that.
Yeah, it's called a Bloomberg back brain bench test for a job. That's worse. Can't get worse than that. Anybody else got any questions or comments? We're slowing down. Gigi, anything?
So are you using like C++ 11 or 14 or
No,
it's older code?
No, C++ 11 and plus I have still lots of things written in pure computing C. So.
What about you, Shalom? Got any?
And are you testing locally or are you always deploying on Linux for testing? Because if you
No. All the testing will be deployed in Linux. I mean, there's no reason to test locally in the first place. It's just better just upload everything on the one as a test user account. Then just do all testing there in the protected environment.
We're grasping for straws here. Alex came back. Do you have semi-manual execution, more gray box than black box, watching Bloomberg terminal for events?
Gray box mostly because we still confirm trades. That's all.
Shalom, you got any questions at all? Sorry, go ahead.
Just because it's still a nice practice to confirm before anything else. And the reason why is because also you want to, it's nice to be able to put a comment in the description why you did the trade. So when you're tracking your performance, just be able to know why something didn't work out.
this is after the trade or before the trade?
Right.
I mean, like seconds after the trade, or you need to push a button to accept the trade?
Oh no! You first decide if you're going to accept or not, and then after immediately you have to send me a comment.
So doesn't this mean that you wouldn't be able to react like faster than a second or?
But we're not that immune. I mean, we are quite immune with regards to these patterns because we're forecasting for that it will happen in a few minutes ahead.
So we actually need to press a button for each individual trade, right?
Yeah.
Alex came back. Do you have execution traders in addition to programmers, engineering experts?
Not really. There are traders, but they are doing other stuff. They're doing equities. I'm not a fan of equities.
Coming up to 2.5 hours. Anybody else got any questions or comments? I think we're grasping for straws here. Oh, Jeff is. Are you Spaniard? Woo.
How about
I don't know what that means.
Bad accent, dude. That's just bad accent. Bad European accent. I'm very tired.
Nobody else got questions, it sounds like. What about you, Gigi or Shalom?
So can you tell us more about the baskets that you are trading or the synthetics? Anything of note or?
Not really. I mean, because it is nothing to really explain. It's like you find a 5%, and you're green, you place it in the basket, something like that. And after a few minutes, you get out of the basket until someone replace it.
Do you run your back tester in real time?
No.
How do you in real time know which strategy is doing the best though? If you're not back testing in real time, how do you evaluate your strategy and how it's doing? Just P&L?
Yeah. That's the most efficient way. It's P&L and correct forecast. how many times you go
Sharp
forward.
rate. Okay.
No, no, because I think
Do
like
you
sharp rate.
sharp ratio at all?
Excuse me.
Do you Sharpie ratio at all?
We use, but it's not realistic in a way that it's like saying that on a high friction system to say a sharp ratio of 40 and 50 is quite common, and then people say 40 and 50 say like that's insane. But when you're doing so many trades in a day of very low volatility, and suddenly you're comparing against S&P, you're going to show much higher return, but it's not realistic to compare.
There's
No,
some-
I mean,
There's
you
someone who
compare.
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. It's just because then you compare and different things.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a lag. There's someone, he's a quant researcher who worked on, one of the projects he worked on was modifying the Sharpie ratio to make it more effective. It's called the PSR, probabilistic Sharpie ratio. Have you heard of it?
I think I've read about it, to be honest.
Have you ever tried to use that? Or,
I think actually what he was recommending is just to take your return rate and divide it by your volatility of the day.
okay.
If I remember correctly, and not
There was another paper which took into account when computing the Sharp ratio, how many backtests did you do, so that you don't data mine your data.
No. I'm referring here to realistic summaries, not to.
That's called the probability of backtest overfitting, the PBO.
Yes.
Right, because you're worried about memory effects and overfitting. So the PBO, I mean, it's not perfect, but it's a way. Do you know what I'm talking about when I say PBO, London Quad?
Yeah, I know what you mean, but what I was replying actually to a sub ratio on real trades, not
Right.
on backtest trades.
Okay.
Because I think that suddenly then you're comparing different time frequencies, which is it's completely irrelevant.
Okay.
Also because things that there is more profit in the market if you're trading intraday than your current position in the first place. So you always beat by a huge level in any index. So this is why they were saying that actually is better. Actually there's I've seen it in one book lately, which actually it had it as like a little pointer saying that if you're doing high frequency or at least intraday, do not use that equation and use only return rate divided by some in the day. It's more realistic.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite get that. One more time, please.
So so I think we're saying pretty much that if you're doing high frequency or at least intraday,
Right.
instead of comparing an index, just take your return on the day and divide it by the standard deviation of the day. And that will give you the SARP of your day correctly.
Right.
Or at least the SARP, or at least a comparison index of a performance.
The standard deviation of the return of the day, right?
Yeah.
So do you use the equal position on all your trades, or do you?
No. It comes down to weights based on the pattern and based on the liquidity.
The quality of the signal, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Another question came in. A lot of people want to know about your language and stuff, but whatever. I mean, let's focus on trading. Alex asked, do you use basic visualizations like line chart P&L? Do you use more advanced graphics like heat maps?
Okay, on the first place, let's see. Let's see. First of all, I don't have any lifestyle Instagram or Facebook, thank God. Don't have the time for it.
Yeah.
And charting, we are using quite a lot the action lightning chart, just because it's very well designed. And also some other charts that we have designed that we have built in house.
Yeah, lightning charts. Anybody else got any questions at all?
Do you also look at the real-time market depth, like visualizations, or?
Yeah. But I mean, this is I could get it through all the for the same reason.
So I will put a picture in the chat box. So do you have something like this which displays
Yeah, I'll put-
the market data from everywhere?
Not on the chart, no. But on a grid.
Here it comes.
That's a pretty noisy chart.
Here is a more zoomed in picture, but this is the equity market where they have like millions of updates. So.
Yeah. Wow.
No, I prefer to have everything on a grid and just compare the history of the order book.
Yeah, I guess Alex has asked about. So you're a full-time in-house shop for everything from machine learning libraries to the database to charts and even custom Linux distribution. How many years would you estimate that it would take to build something like that?
It goes everything from scratch 3 years.
As a one-person operation, right?
Yeah. In my opinion.
You
That's
said
true.
that you said multiple times that we trade, we do, so it's only you. It's not a team.
The things that I'm doing, specific things with regards to machine learning, so anything with regards to research of machine learning, that's my side. There's a specific guy that does research, who was recently hired, that is doing implementation of papers. And then some other equity guys which are doing just trading.
Raul made a comment, HFT can lead to market crash sometimes. It also provides liquidity. I know that as a fact.
SVN, with regards to the last question, I like SVN.
Yeah, same here.
I'm not, I don't have big issues with regards to Git. I like Git also. I don't really care.
Yeah.
I think Git is cleaner. It has better solution, but I'm stuck to SVN for so long that it's what it is.
Yeah. Anybody else got any questions? Sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
What do you think of news sentiment analysis?
I'm not the person that reading news. I mean, there's another guy in the team that, he's dependent on the news, but not for my stuff. At least not for anything with machine learning that I'm doing. I don't care for news.
So now Alex is saying you're being hypocritical because you watch Bloomberg.
Bloomberg is nice, but it's sad in the first place. I think, at least people with all the people that have been working with in the past is given the best way, no way. That's the one thing. With regards to the news, I mean, we read news for any other thing than just currencies. And it's just kind of like a de facto tool for also obtaining data if you want.
Question from Raul, how do you manage trades at events? I guess like shocks, let's say, new shocks?
First of all, if it's an economic event, there is no trade. That's standard.
Well, I'm just...
If it is some random event, it's not that we are waiting for specific things to happen. If it don't happen, we don't do the trade.
Well, so he's
Where
referring...
do you get the calendar of? Where do you get the calendar of news events?
After Bloomberg. And if I remember correctly, then Bloomberg gets it actually from Econoday. I think everyone actually gets it from Econoday. And I think actually even Econoday gets it from EBI.
So do you look at the impact level or the importance of the news events? Or like do you have a filter like only high impact events or?
This is how people flag it. Okay? It comes down to what you think is important, and I think the easiest way to see if it's important or not is just go through your data, and every time there was there was an event, say for that name of the event, it usually moves the chart on the very button. So do not depend on people tell you if it's a high or low in the event. Do your own analysis. It's much easier.
Yeah.
So you are actually trying to measure how much each impact has.
I mean, the one we did at the very beginning, for different events that affect quality implementing, at least for different strategies, we just flagged pretty much what we think that is important and what's not important.
Alex came back with exactly, you're not quantifying sentiment, you're still using discretionary Bloomberg terminal, not using the machine readable feeds and performing sentimental analysis on it.
I don't understand the question. I mean, yes, we're using this person in Bloomberg, but Bloomberg is not just terminal. It gives you access to many things, including data. That's one thing.
I
So I
think
don't understand what about machine readable feed.
well, what he's trying to say is you're not using the feed itself, looking for data within the feed, and then be able to use it to quantify some kind of impact on your live trading. Does that make sense?
But our feed comes from the ticks of the tick session.
Yeah, I think what he's trying to say is
Our feed is actually price.
right, but I think what he's trying to say is he's trying to actually. I can bring him aboard. Hang on, if you're able to speak, Alex, get ready. Alex, hang on. Alex, are you there? You're still muted, Alex. Alex, can you speak? Oh, Alex. Oh, I think he's trying to set himself up there. I think what he's trying to refer to is you're not using the feed, like looking for certain keywords within the feed to measure how it will impact your like I said, your live trading.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Anybody else got any? Go ahead.
I mean, like, look, for us, it's just going to, even if you want to communicate with some guy from TPs, the best way is to Bloomberg.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to place a big trade, sometimes it's the best way to do it is through Bloomberg.
Anybody else got any questions or comments? 2 hours.
So I was wondering if you know from memory how many ticks on average do you have on euro dollar or LMAX institutional on day? So it's like, for example, on most brokers you have like 100,000, so like almost 1 or 2 per second. So it's
No. LMAX actually has the list of the brokers that we're dealing with. So LMAX usually has around 400,000 ticks a day on the euro dollar, and on most other venues it will be minimum 1.5 million, minimum worst case scenario.
So when you say one, for example, on a hotspot you get individual orders, but not every order will update the top of the book. So do you count those? Or?
No, I count them as Amos would have counted, which is like anything that updates any part of the order of the book. Actually, no, that's not an order, that's an update of the order.
Yes.
Another question came in from Alex. What do you think of the LIBOR scandal? Many institutions are now banning Bloomberg chat for their traders as compliance. Any comment?
Yeah, it's true, but the industry depends on Bloomberg so much that's and in the end, what they will do, they will create a common service that everyone can use, and then still Bloomberg will be using it. So.
Yeah. Anybody else got any questions or comments? Coming up to 2 hours 40 minutes. Yeah. So rules saying share my knowledge, will do. Jeff says, how do you manage your concentration when developing, programming your systems? Do you outsource any tasks or build solo?
There are 2 developers who are working on other parts of the system on the first place. And they're dealing with very, very detailed work. And the one guy is working only on Linux, for example. usually work on the research knowledge. With regards to the concentration of lots of coffee, actually. Stay awake and a lot of coffee. And cigarettes and coffee.
Can you tell what's the average size of a pattern, or like in time? So it's like 5 minutes, 1 hour, or?
No, I mean, look, I mean, if you, I mean, for trades, so let's say that would last maybe 5 minutes, would be maybe 10-minute pattern. Maybe. Very, very specific type of moves.
Alex asked, are you co-locating any hardware at NY4?
Yes, the hardware is ours, but that was for the build before.
And do you use Agile or any methodologies like Scrum? Do you unit test your code?
Oh, fuck that. I mean, of course we use the code, but Scrum and Agile, I mean, look, we are not, Facebook, but we have developers, and even if we were, I hate Agile.
Thank you.
I hate Agile. I hate people give me a pencil and tell me like, now you can speak.
I agree. Alex, so you are using x86 assembly or pure C++, or should you run on other ARCs eventually?
x64 for purely to use the Intel AVX instruction set, just because it extends the SC3 a lot. And then it's more pure C and C++. So
what are you using AVX for? Like, do you have you process parallel streams of tick data, or for segmenting each stream?
For serialization.
You prefer GCC or C-Lane?
This is it. Just because I've never really sat down to deal with C-Lane. I didn't have time.
Anyone else? We're drawing straws again. Comments?
I can hear like most people are telling me to switch to C-Lane, but I just don't know why. I always deal with GCC, so probably maybe about how much it's.
Any comments, questions? We're slowing down here. Gigi?
No, at the moment.
Alex, do you use Sharp ratios, information ratios, or do you focus on pure P&L, pure per trade?
I think one thing that at least I know that also other people are doing, and I've also seen in a number of journals, is I don't know the name. There's a specific name when you are comparing the P&L to your actual forecast. So pretty much it's like saying that yes, I forecast something going towards my direction, and how much profitable was it? So you can actually extract a ratio out of it just to compare every trade as a little index, and to see how much all these trades accumulate. Because if you're profitable, but you were profitable, but you were trying to forecast something in the end in a different way, and you were profitable, then doesn't really mean a thing.
Another question.
We are more targeting consistency than just pure,
Question from Jeff. Can you apply scalability of the web mobile development methodologies for financial markets or HFT?
I don't know. I wouldn't think so, and I don't think that so much possible.
Let's give it 3 more questions and then we'll give it a wrap. Okay, so you're housing specifically on the market microstructure of the euro, and if the euro broke up, it wouldn't work.
No, I think the easiest way to put it is that, let's say you're waiting for something to happen. If it doesn't happen, just don't trade.
Yeah, move on to the next one. Anybody else?
You don't have to trade. You don't have to always place trade. If it doesn't, you don't see the problem taking place. Okay.
Yeah. Anybody else got any questions? 2 more, I guess. Anybody? Shalom. So it's directionary, and you have your own EMS.
I don't understand the last question.
Discretionary. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. More or less, yeah. I think it's more or less discretionary.
Let's do one more last question. Gigi, Shalom, Alex. It's 2 hours and 44 minutes. It's quite long. On the AI engine is more of an advisor agent.
Exactly. I mean, look, in the end, you see that all the models, because the AI engine has different components. Some forecasters, some advisors. In the end, all of them together, they'll work more like an expert system.
Do you trade all the trades that the system suggests to you, or sometimes just keep some trades?
No, I will just trade anything that Google suggests, because these are like very specific things.
So the accept button that you must click is just to check that it's not a bad order or something like that.
Yeah, or maybe just a stupid mistake,
Yes.
or some bug, and then suddenly throw you trade.
Yes, or a bad spike, or the market suddenly happens something.
I know, even if a spike happened, it wouldn't find any button.
Oh yes, you're right, because the button will be destroyed.
So Raul,
It will get rebalanced immediately.
Raul asked about good strategies that you'd like to share. We've already talked about that. So
I don't really have a strategy. I mean, I'm just doing pattern analysis.
yeah, we've talked about that extensively. If you have children, teenagers, are your children any of the rich kids of Well, I don't understand this.
Oh, I don't have kids. No, thank God.
Yeah, I don't get that.
So are your patterns more like a momentum trade that goes in the same direction, or more like a?
It can go both directions. No, it can go both directions.
So it's not like you prefer some direction, or?
No. I mean, look, in the end of the day, it's like the word implies. It's a pattern. It has nothing to do with if it's momentum or it's reversal. It just says, I've seen something before. This is usually how things go after it.
Anybody else?
In
Questions?
the end, it's more logical.
Crap, we're coming up to 3 hours. Anybody else got any
I
questions?
think the difference with that is what most people confuse, and maybe there's many people get tied to the whole machine learning and neural networks and everything. That at least you can have something that's much more of a pattern recognition system, and especially how you have designed and what's the algorithm behind it. It's much easier to say, okay, you're recommending something and explaining why than having a neural network telling you here's a pattern and you don't know why, because the why is hard-coded in some conditions.
But how can you explain the particular pattern? How do you know that it was some like a fund which got stopped, or?
I mean, that is the part that I can. That is the part I can say that in the end the system is not machine learning; it's machine vision. There's a big difference between the two. I don't want the system to learn. I want the system to understand.
Anything else?
And that's why I was saying before. I do not calibrate the system. I just update it with the latest data. And the moment they give it the latest data, they're already in the system and they can be used in the future.
Alex asked another question. What do you think of Mandelbrot's theories?
I absolutely believe it. Patterns are there and they're always repeating. I mean, I think like once we were discussing when it was also, I think, Paul Cottrell and Paul, it's of that attitude of, like everything is chaos, where I'm more of the everything is repeating. You don't know how it's repeating. And usually it will be repeating in this due fashion or in a way that you're not really used to it, but it's there. It just repeats in a micro scale or in a macro scale. But
Do you want to keep going, Mr. LQ, Mr. Lennon Kwan, or how's your energy level?
I think I almost let have
Yeah, you've been online for almost 3 hours. Let's give it a wrap very fast. Anything else? Use astronomical data for inputs in your neural nets. Oh boy. That's how desperate.
What kind of astronomical data? I would look in the first place. I wouldn't touch your nets. Astronomical data. I don't know.
I know, that's when we're getting desperate for questions. Gigi? Anything?
Now I don't want to lengthen this, so.
I know.
I think I will put it in a different way. There's even a famous case, of Jim Simons that was trying to find if there's a connection between a thing like some phase of the planets with trade. And that's Jim Simons.
But can I?
With Millennium Fund. So if something is working for you, who cares? If it's making money, who cares?
Well, there was a study that in cold days, the stock market is more likely to go down than in happy days, I mean in warm days, because the traders are more depressed or something like that. And there was another study that if in the weekend there was a lot of comedies in the box office, like new movies, the market was more likely to go down because people were happy because of the movies and some psychological stuff happened. So.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's if it works for you, who cares?
Yeah.
I don't know. You may have your dog, and whenever you're really sneezing, you're making a trade and you're winning.
Yeah.
You can call that a strategy.
Yeah.
You can call that thing up there recognition. I don't care. But if you're winning and another person is losing, you're probably better than that person.
Yeah.
Yes, but what the problem with most people is that they don't actually research how profitable or how the statistics of their whatever idea.
Yeah, exactly. And I agree completely. I think this is why usually I will have a problem with most systems that if you cannot explain it in a logical manner why something is being implemented in the trade, then it's usually useless.
Yeah. Anybody?
But are you satisfied with the explanation, like the faster moving average crossed over the slower one, or you actually require to know the market reason behind it?
I'm not happy with that. No, I'm not happy with that.
So you want to know that some fund bought.
No, you see, I'm not happy with that because that thing goes down the toilet when suddenly you have whipsaw. Suddenly, let's say you have whipsaw, then the whole figure around crossing the averages doesn't hold anymore. Because then suddenly you tell you trade now, you will be losing money and continue to trade.
There is this theory actually that a very nice guy said it on the net that people win money when the trend goes up, then they lose it in the consolidation period. And range traders make money in the consolidation period, and they lose it in the trend. So on the whole, everybody loses money.
So that's the thing. I mean, everyone is trying to make theories out of the technical stuff. And there's, I mean, if you can really explain it in a logical and mathematical fashion of why something takes place, because only then we can actually reproduce it with a market. Otherwise, it's a random thing. I mean, most people, that's the thing. Most people will see some indicator on the side will say, "Oh, look, you know, that you have credit." Well, yes, because you already see what happens afterwards. You remove this information, you do the trade. Most people do not.
Yes, and they also interpret the indicators in individual ways, like in the same indicator in different ways.
Yeah, and that's.
So they can't even explain exactly what they are looking at.
That's the problem. Most people are earlier trying to say, in some, I don't know, some training sessions like, oh, use this thing and use it. Okay, why? And if you're so good, why you haven't raised millions of money?
Well said. What do you think of the Hurst exponent or Markov models? What do you use to detect the regimes? Is this embedded in the GP?
I'm not using Hurst exponent, even though I do believe it. The thing is that many people interpret the Hurst exponent in a different way. That's the slight problem. In case of people that do not really understand mathematics or how this Hurst exponent is being actually calculated, you will come up with some stupid things. With regards to detecting regimes, it's really relative. is so relative because it comes down to your period, what kind of period you're using to calculate your patient score.
You want to take another 5 more minutes because it's coming up to 3 hours.
Yeah, I'll just five minutes. Yeah,
Yeah, let's give it another 5 minutes. Raul asked, what do you think about the future of algo trading? Do you think algo trading is really make money all the time, and is it really effective?
I know people they are making money, and people they are losing money. It's right.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Anything else with any questions from anybody?
I think the problem is like lately with most FX traders is it was like, like there was very little movement on a daily basis. And then some of the people that used to carry trades on some days, or at least not like the 1-2 days period, they was fine.
Yeah.
Just because there was no volatility. Now everything is picking up.
And now you have like a 900 pips movement on the euro dollar with almost not any to trace. So
Yeah. So and this is why I think that is my approach is, you know, I don't want to trade over, I don't want to trade over a week because you don't know what's going to happen in the first place. So I'm much happier just going in, take specific profits in a day and then get out.
You want to treat this as the last question? Alice asks, do you use Boost or do you design your own fix engine?
I use Boost and I did design my own engine.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, Boost is trivial. You cannot, nowadays it's used for everything.
Gigi, you got any other questions or Shalom?
no.
3 hours, man. That's a long webinar.
I think everyone's going to go to bed now.
Yeah. Jeff says, thanks, Brian and London Quant from San Francisco. Thank you very much for coming out. Awesome talks. Brian, thanks, Brian, Gigi, London Quant, everyone making this possible. Thanks to all. This was a really good, really valuable webinar. Thanks to you, Gigi. Thanks to you, London Quant, for helping out. You guys made this an awesome meetup online thing.
It was fun, guys.
Oh, this was I learned so much. That's why I do these. I know Shalom's jumping up and down right now. I'm gonna put Shalom back. Shalom? Let's hear from Shalom, see what he says. I know he liked it. Shalom? He's self-muted himself. Best one yet. Thanks, LQ.
I think this was the best webinar yet. I think the information just exchanged in this one topped anything we ever had.
Yeah, I agree.
And actually I was thinking like, no, even the thing of the model that Salomon was recommending, I would have actually thought about it and I would send some notes to Brian and then you actually pass them over.
Yeah, and vice versa. And don't forget, guys, you can talk on the forum.
LQ, would it be okay if I have some questions to you about some of my strategies? Can I relate it to Brian and Brian will relate?
No,
to you?
hold.
I think you can actually put it on the forum with Brian and
Yeah.
I can go there and just...
That's what this thing's for. Hang on, let me just get this.
Well, I don't know if I want to put my entire what I'm doing on. I would rather keep it somewhat secret.
Oh, okay.
Put it out for everyone, but you know, if Brian sees it and you see it, that would be okay.
What kind of work hours are you going to work on?
Don't forget, I can make the forum private. Maybe you guys can't see this, the QLN Elite Members Forum. I can put that, make it password protected, and keep that very private.
Yeah, if we want to have a private forum, just you know, London Quant, myself, and Brian, just to go over some stuff. That would be great.
Yeah, we could do that, or Ernie as well, or whoever else.
Yeah.
Fine, yeah, it's absolutely fine.
Jeff asks, how long has this talk's been going on? I don't know if you're referring to this one specifically, 3 hours. How long have we been doing the meetups? 3 years? 3.5 years, actually. Yeah, this is an awesome. Yeah, Jeff, 3.5 years for the meetups. Yeah, 3.5 years. Yeah, this was an awesome webinar. They keep getting better and better, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I mean, this really raised the bar on things. I don't know how we're going to surpass this.
We do. We will. You know how you surpass it? When you start seeing me live trading, and as Mr. LQ says, I'll make my first $1 million. That's when you top it.
You ever come to the States? You ever come to New York?
I've been actually I've been where? I've been to Rochester and then sometimes Jacksonville.
Don't forget Toronto. Toronto in the house.
Yeah, I've been to London. That was fucking totally great.
You ever been to NYC?
No. Actually, I only passed through.
Oh, you should definitely check it out one time. It's a great city, almost as great as London. So, you come over here, I'll buy you a beer.
You have to first convince Brian to buy all the beers like he owes me.
Yeah, I know. I have a collection owing to this guy.
You can't fucking come.
For Jeff, we've been doing all this online. We have the occasional local meetup in Toronto once a month.
All right.
Yeah, 3 hours. We just crossed it. Wow.
Cool, guys. Look, I'll see you again.
There you go. 3 hours. 3 hours and 30 seconds. Wow, that's quite long.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks a lot, Mr. LQ. You put a lot of effort in this.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
What I'll do is I'm gonna close out now. Okay. Hang on. If anyone's bye all. This was a good power. I had to take my kid to the doctor. Now I'm back. Hope you have recorded. Yeah, everything's being recorded. Okay, guys, I'm gonna shut her down. Thanks for coming out. Have a good night, and see you on the next one. Thanks. Bye. Bye all.